left is so sweet. It's in these moments where all I know is coming into focus. And now I see it's in these moments.
Don't really miss you, and I don't even care about
Hello and welcome into another week of the NECC here. Fish and Orbital getting ready for a Navigators Lower Midwest Showdown. We've got Redbird Junior Academy taking on UWin Esports. Final week of the regular season, Orbital. Both these teams look like they're pretty well in the playoff hunt. UWin actually the number one seed right now, trying to hold strong, but you want to get that last win before the playoffs start, so you go into those playoffs on a high note.
Of course, it's really on the other side of the map, right? Redbirds are currently sitting at about middle of the pack. They're looking to cement themselves as a little bit of an upper tier team. Problem is, you're in the lower side. You're 4-3 right now. So, if you lose this one, you're going to be sitting at about that 4th or 5th place, depending on head-to-head matchups. If you get that 5-3, you're going to boost up to, I would say, closer to about 3rd or 4th, depending on how the others shake out. So a little bit more for Redbird Junior Academy that they got to be working towards those big numbers. But nonetheless, I'm excited to see what happens.
Well, the thing is, for UWin, there's a couple teams right behind them at 5-2. If you lose this game, they win. All of a sudden, you can go from maybe 1st down to 4th place, depending on how things work out. So, if you're UWin Esports, you can't just take this game lightly. You got to make sure you finish business. Of course, map score a big one as well, Orbital. Even if you just get that one map win and you lose 2-1, that could mean the difference between a 5th place or a 6th place if you're Redbird. So, there's a lot on the line for both these teams. Excited to hop into it and see who is going to take home their final win of the regular season. Of course, you gotta think, Orbital, these teams might play in the playoffs. Maybe if you're UWin, you hide something. I don't know. I'm just looking ahead. If you're the top team, you never want to just bow out early because you blew all your good strategies early on here. But as we get ready to go, I do believe we can take a look at the rosters for both of these teams in this Navigators Lower Midwest Showdown. Starting with Redbird Junior Academy, we've got Andrew Potato in the top lane, end of the line in the jungle, Basher Masher in the mid lane, FBO4 in the bottom lane, and then Bomb Boy as his support. This team is, again, as Orbital said, 4-3 right now, but a win here could push them up to 5-3, which would be absolutely huge. Meanwhile, they're taking on the top team in the Navigators Lower Midwest side. That is UWin Esports Silver. They've got Large Imp in the top lane, Deadliest Wave in the jungle, Noka in the mid, Arab Dad in the bot lane, and Lunctus Stamus down there in that support role. Should be an absolutely fantastic game here to wrap up our regular season, Orbital.
Yeah, and I'm actually very excited for this because if you take a look at the win records, yes, UWin Esports are currently sitting at that 6-1, but if you look at their actual records, they've gone to game threes fairly often, right? They're 13-5 with 3 of those losses coming in 3 of their wins. They've only won, I believe, 3 times as a 2-0. Taking a look on the other side, Redbird Junior Academy have kind of done the same. In their wins, they've won 3 times in a 2-0 sweep, meaning it doesn't mean a whole lot, but it does feel like both the teams do have even chances of being able to kind of blow out a series. So I'm very, very interested to see how they go ahead and decide to pull this off. Eyes are mostly going to be, of course, I always think in the mid lane. It's always very fun for me to take a look there and see what they're going to play out. But of course, we're into the pick and ban phase where we do see Redbird Junior Academy on that blue side and UWin Esports Silver on the red.
Yeah, I think mid lane, is something I know jungle has been, it has a lot of power in some matchups depending on what you want to play. I think jungle's kind of like where I like to look, see what this jungle matchup will be. I don't know about you, Orbital, but I've seen so much Maokai this year in the NECC. I want to throw up. I don't want to see another tree. I'm really hoping we get something a bit more aggressive in this game between these teams as we do get our first picks and bans. And I'm assuming these are going to be either more just things you don't want to face, maybe some one-trick pony bans here in this first game, just kind of fill each other out here. So we got the Thresh and the set ban with the Syndra and Volibear on the other side.
Yeah, these are very targeted here. The Thresh set and Darius, they're not mainstays in the meta. The only one that I do see as a threat are the Volibear and the and the Caitlyn on the other side. So UWin Esports taking a bit more overall approach, whereas it feels a little bit more hard locked by Redbird Junior Academy. But this does leave open a lot of crazy champions. And in this current patch, or right before, I believe this is the week right before we get the big preseason, right? That's going to be crazy. We do get to see some of these interesting picks start to come out. The Fiora versus Mordekaiser are automatically locked in. And granted, these are not picked this is not how they picked him before. So we did have the pleasure of seeing the Pro Draft being picked up before. Fiora was actually the counter to Mordekaiser, and I really, really like that pickup.
Yeah, I do really like the Fiora. We got the Trundle there as well. I think that's just a very strong jungler right now, depending especially on what, the Scion being picked up. That's a very Interesting jungle pick. It's not something you see very often at times Orbital, but I like the Trundle kind of counters that pick. It does really well into the Fiora as well, just kind of stealing that AD, being that 1v1 threat that's going to hopefully slow down Rainmaker split pushing if it gets that level. I think that's a really good pick by UWin Esports here so far in this first phase.
Yeah, it was a flex pick. They picked a blind pick in B1, so the Scion getting swapped around is just like, it's whatever. The Trundle, though, answered much further down the draft. It was R4, so to say that it was understood what was coming out here, I think it's very appropriate. So the Scion going in the jungle saying, okay, let's not worry about it too much. The mid lane is very interesting, though. Varus, we did see a huge amount in the Worlds Finals, but of course that was on a completely different patch here. And it looks like those two are also picked up in B5 and R5, respectively. So the Varus coming out as a counter, I love it, right? Long range, keeping them at bay, depending if you go lethality or AP. It's a double threat kind of composition here. And it feels very much like the side of the Lancers of UWin Esports Silver are saying, stay away, right? You stay away, and we're going to fight you kind of at a little bit further than arm's reach.
Yeah, the Jhin pick there as well, definitely going to add to that increased range with his W and his ult, really going to let them kind of challenge Redbird's Junior Academy, maybe from further distances away. I do think this feels to me like we'll probably see the Varus lean towards that AP build just because of the amount of, you have the Jhin, you have the Trundle, maybe balance that comp out a little bit, but we do get the Morgana and the Leona, and I honestly love that pick. As you were talking about from the pro draft, that was another counter pick by the Lancers on that Morgana. I absolutely love it. A Leona that gets bullied, a Leona that gets rooted, just loses so much emphasis in that lane, especially with the Samira where you want to be aggressive. I think the Lancers definitely, to me, when I look at this draft, flat out just straight won early on. I know they still got to play the game Orbital because that's what they got to do, but I think in the draft, the Lancers have absolutely won game one.
Okay, so that's always hard to say, right? Because yes, they got a lot of what feels like very good counter picks, as you were saying, right? The Trundle being in there to take away a lot of the stats of the Scion. The Leona's going to be held at arm's length. The problem is they don't really have a go button, right? If you're taking a look at their composition, if you take a look at the engage they have, they don't really have any. You may be able to start off with a Morgana binding. Yes, that's a real threat. That's not an engage, right? You're looking at a chain of corruptions to start things out. You're looking at a curtain call to slow people down. It's not a composition that's really built to say, hey, we can take the fight to you. Now take a look at Redbird Junior Academy's side, right? Little bit more engage in their pocket. The Leona, the Scion, the Samira wanting to go in as well. This is a composition that, yes, it's a little bit more flexible, but still says, I do want to go in. So the fact of the matter is Redbird Junior Academy, they do have the go buttons. If they get ahead, if they start pushing forward, they will have the abilities to actually roll down and say, let's take the fight, let's start things up. For the Lancers, if they can outskill, which if they're 6-1, I really do think that they have the skill, yes, they can break out, they can do kind of this bruiser, guerrilla warfare style. We should never actually see them group up unless they're being dictated by Redbird Jr. So UWin Esports on paper, yes, you have a lot to disengage, a lot to take away from Redbird Junior Academy. Your go button is going to be very difficult to pull off, though.
Yeah, I think you brought up a great point, Orbital. As you said, I don't think the Lancers have a go button. They have a stop sign, though, right? Because they have a ton of ways to disengage. Leona goes in, you hit him with a binding. If Bachelor Smash goes in, maybe Mordekaiser takes him to the death realm, pulls him out of the fight. If he wins that 1v1, he gets the stats. So they have a lot of ways, as you said, to disengage if they don't find a fight they like. You can throw out the curtain call to get the slows. You can throw out the chain of the corruption to get some roots. They have a lot of ways to stop Redbirds from going in. But you're totally right. If this game becomes more even and we're seeing a lot more team fights, then yeah, I think I would see how Redbirds would have the advantage here. They have a lot of go buttons, but it just feels like early on you have those counters. Feels like Leona's one of those champions, especially if she gets behind, she can struggle at times because she wants to engage, she wants to start fights, and if this Leona falls behind, Redbirds are kind of be saying, well, now you've got to play more peel, but everybody wants to be in the melee range. Who are you going to peel for? So I think it is going to be very interesting. I think I like the Varus pick. I think that's going to be the one. Is that more of like well, I saw it at Worlds. Let's pull it out on the NECC and see if I can do the exact same thing. I don't think you're going to steal 2 Barons this series. I'm just going to throw that one out there. Maybe you will. But that's that one pick where I'm like, this might be like I saw it at Worlds. I can do it, and it might fall flat on its face for the Lancers.
Well, let's start with your first point, right, which is the Leona. The Leona, yes, will have a difficult time, but it's always with a support, it's always about what it's paired with, right? When paired with the Samir, it's going to be an absolute monster to deal with, whether you're behind or ahead. It really does float on the Samira, though. If Samira can't follow up, then yes, the Jhin Morgana becomes a very oppressive lane, and I think that's what the Lancers are kind of banking on. It's an early game style of composition. It's early, bullying, get ahead, and then roll your victory out from there. Taking a look at the Varus, well, remember, in Worlds, it was always in the ADC position, and I will say with the build pass that a mid Varus has, you're actually more likely to steal out like a Baron or a Dragon because you're usually going burst, right? You're usually going lethality, you're going the hard poke, just that giant piercing arrow, that's what you're looking at. You're not really gonna go on hit, right? That's not gonna be your goal here. So I would actually say the Varus mid has a higher chance. Are you hoping to always just steal away an objective? Not really. That's not your goal, right? But you have a higher percentage chance just with the build path that you plan to go. Unless I'm completely wrong, and that's a lethal tempo Varus mid. We don't know yet.
We should hopefully find out soon. Game 1 of this Navigators Lower Midwest Showdown about to kick off. Final week of the NECC regular season. UWin Esports Silver, the Lancers sitting at 6-1 atop the division, trying to hold that number 1 seed going into the playoffs. Meanwhile, Redbird Junior Academy 4-3. Within striking distance, potentially of up to maybe the number 2 spot, depending on how the rest of the games fall, depending on how the tiebreakers play out. There's a lot at stake for both of these teams, and we are getting ready to hop into game number 1 here very, very soon. And I know, Orbital, you broke down all the reasons why, despite me like the Lancers draft, I might be wrong, but do you have an early lean, at least? I know you like the go button for the Redbirds, but do you have an early lean before we hop in, or do you need to wait a few minutes, see how things play out in the early couple minutes of this game?
Oh, man. Early leans are always a big thing, right? Because the early game can determine so much, but so can the mid to late. And as you can probably tell from my analysis, I lean towards the mid to late. Because I don't expect teams to have a great handle, unless you're from the LCK or LPL or whatever, to know how to close out a game in like 18 minutes, right? It's going to go a little bit of a distance. I will say the oppressive laning that can come out, I will give it to Lancers, right? That bot lane, as you said, very important to watch. The Jhin and Morgana can be an absolute pain. The Trundle as well, I have a tendency to see Trundles get out of control, get very annoying. And the fact that you're up against a Scion perfect stat soaker with your Subjugate, it's going to be a blast. The only thing that I have an issue with is that top lane, right? That Mordekaiser is going to get beat black and blue, get turned into a trash can. It worries me quite a bit. Other than that, I do like the Lancers composition for the early game, and really it's going to come down to that skill check overall.
Hoping to hop into game 1 here very soon. It looks like we are here, ready to go. We kick things off, and we'll see who is going to do what. I'm curious if you go for an early invade. Usually in game 1, I like to feel out my opponents a little bit more, but it's the last week of the season, so put it all on the line, especially if you're Redbird Junior Academy here, Orbital, which it looks like they're maybe actually going to be the ones who are being invaded, ironically. The Lancers, 6-1, basically all set up at this blue buff, all ready to go. There's just nobody home.
Oh, well, see, that's the problem, is this Fiora is going to have a problem. That's why you always go there first. Oh, no.
Fiora just at the top of your screen. They see the Trundle. And
okay.
They got out. Wow.
It was just a ward. It was just a ward, and Rainmaker realized that they made a little bit of a mistake, right? So when you're going to cover your objectives, you want to run straight there, and that is the exact reason why, right? If you don't run there right away, you lose out on the vision opportunities, so Rainmaker, you're kind of scared. The thing is Rainmaker has no idea that that entire red side is actually warded. You only saw one ward go down. You didn't see anyone else leave, I believe. Maybe you did catch 1 or 2 on the out, but it's not perfect. So the fact of the matter is there is wards down on Redbird's side that is going to give plenty of information to where Basher is going to be moving through. And that means Lancers have the perfect way to counter gank or counter jungle their opponent and keep that Scion behind.
And then Rainmaker ended up throwing out a very late ward on top of his own blue buff. I think more just to protect for the invade, though I don't think the Lancers have any interest in that. So that's going to mean that, you know, now he's got 1 less ward to play with in lane if he wants to try and push off a gank attempt from Deadliest Wave. So not the best start for Rainmaker up the top lane, but these are small airs, or we don't need to worry too much about late wards or anything like that. But as you said, they will have perfect tracking on Bash or Mash. They'll kind of know where this Scion is when he takes his blue buff, and Deadliest Wave can kind of set up maybe a top gank, maybe a top 2v2 from what they see from the Scion when he gets to his blue buff.
Yeah, and it's a little bit slow going, right? You can actually see the skip over a couple camps there, and that's fairly standard. But the early level 2 on the bot side, Lunctus and Dad, of course, going pretty hard on this level 2, and that is appropriate, right? The Morgana and Jhin have to do this, and you can see it's already taking a toll on Bomb Boy here on the bot side.
They get pressure on that Leona. Doesn't have great ways to sustain. Nice binding gonna land there, followed up by another binding. You can see the power of this bot lane duo already pushing FB and Bomb Boy just back under their tower. Some great poke there. Shield Daybreak just used to try and create some distance for this Samira. But they're going to be sitting under their tower for a while, so now the challenge for FB becomes how well can you farm under the tower? Can you secure as much CS as possible so that you don't lose any more gold to Dad and Luctus than you already are?
I think you lost out at least 2 or 3 CS there, even though for the 2 waves, FB has actually done very, very well, right? You can see the CS differential, and that's because Dad and Lunctus were focused more on trying to get the damage down. Now in the mid lane, we're seeing a gank here. A little bit of a catch.
Ooh, Deadliest Wave is behind. The pillar unfortunately missed. Now no cap. Gonna throw out some damage. Flash by Bomb Boy. Misses the Zenith Blade. Second root's gonna land. Ignite on the Lunctus. Gonna flash away with the Black Shield. But First Blood picked up by FB. Dad gonna throw out the... He'll try and stay alive. He will pick up 1. And now it's a support versus an AD carry, but Dad is very low, hit by the Zenith Blade, and will go down. So it's a 2-for-1 trade in that bot side. Meanwhile, Deadliest Wave immediately walks back up top side, and Rainmaker here's just dead. Yeah, ate the tower shot and everything.
I mean, call that well played by by Nari on the top side. That was a good play from that Mordekaiser, and the gank coming in from Deadly well. Very, very smart from the Lancer side, but most importantly, that bot side, right? Broke out in what can only be called a difficult situation. A very big problem has occurred. Dad and Lunctus, you're not supposed to go in like that. I don't care. At any point, you should not be getting that close to try and dish out the damage. It gave FB just a large opportunity to get in range and get the damage down. Even though you burn the summoner spells, most importantly, it's a kill onto FB. I believe it was First Blood to FB as well, so a little bit of a larger purchase round as well.
And unfortunately for Lunctus, the binding, it missed Bomb Boy with the flash. It ended up landing onto FB, but in that situation, as you said, you want to create space, but both their roots landed on the Samira, who even has a close range AD carry, is still going to be able to dish out some damage as FB is getting run down here by Lunctus. Now Bomb Boy in range. Zenith Blade, nice black shield on the Shield of Daybreak, so they do at least immune that stun. They're getting way too close to Leona, as you pointed out right now, Orbital.
Yeah, that fight, I think, is going to make both supports very, very antsy, right? Whenever you have kind of the skill check right there, it makes teams very, very aggressive for some reason. They start to go even harder. They're like, hey, I want to prove myself. I want to prove that I'm a little bit better. Lunctus and Dad, they don't care to actually go in. Just throw the bindings, have a little bit of fun. Make sure you get a CS differential. That's all you're really looking for here. That's how you kind of win this bot lane out. Or else this happens.
Well, we got another fight. Deadliest Wave this time is coming down. FB is low. The pillar just barely misses with the flash forward. One more auto, and Dad will pick up the kill. So this time they get bailed out by their jungler Orbital. And that is huge, because that is now 2-1 for Dad on this Jhin in the bot lane.
Deadliest Wave having a really nice time now. That's 2 ganks in 2 successful moments. And it was sorely needed, right? FB and Bomb Boy, they were getting a little bit antsy, and Lunctus was playing a little bit far forward. You saw it there. If that had continued, I think FB would have been able to come out with another kill, and that would have been quite dangerous. So very nice call by Lancer saying, hey, we have to play appropriate. We have to play together. And it's going to be the big call. So Deadliest Wave getting a gank, now rotating back to the top side, allowing Lunctus and Dad to gather up a plate or 2. That's going to be a nice set of gold back into the pockets of the Lancers.
Huge win for them, especially because they want to brawl so much. Orbital, it just helps them even more, because I don't think they're going to learn to slow down, because they kind of got bailed out by Deadliest Wave. So the fact that they have more stats just means they're going to feel more empowered to fight in this bottom side of the map. We do have the Dragon up, though no one seems to be too interested in it. Looks like both junglers just going to clear out their second spots of the camps. Maybe we get a full-out 3v3 here around that Dragon, but so far everything's kind of slowed down outside this bottom lane, and that one gank top, we haven't seen too much action. I'd like to see Man of Night maybe try and push into No Cap Rhino. There's really no wards around this Varus, so if Bachelor Smash can hit level 6, Should be a free kill on this Ferris the moment he pushes forward.
The difficult thing is, of course, now with the Chain of Corruption, you're just like, do we actually try for it? Victor is a champion that is well known as just kind of a farm champion. You play to scale towards that mid to late. And in the early game, yes, Basher could make a gank in, could try and get some damage down, but is it actually necessary? Is it going to allow you the most information? And again, every gank for a Scion is extremely important, right? If you fail the gank, if you don't get anything out of it, you fall behind a little bit in the pressure in the rotation game. Yes, you are up in CS, but you lost out in the gank game, and that's what you're hoping to see. You can actually see the Scion on the bot side prepping for that unstoppable onslaught, just aiming for that bot lane.
And there he comes, but unfortunately, Sound Q gonna give him away. Dad, not quite able to dodge. Is he gonna be able to get back to the tower? No, he will not. He will go down. A huge shutdown for Basher Smash. You called it, Orbital. He lined it up, and even though the Lancers clearly knew it was coming, just could not get out of range in time. So Luctus and Deadliest Wave will disengage. This will be first Dragon for Redbird Jr. Cap.
And I pray that his dad's and Luctus's eye-opener to they failed the quiz, the pop quiz of how to deal with a Scion gank like that, right? The correct way to do it is stick together, black shield yourself, and stand in front of the ultimate, right? Tank the damage, block the knockup so both of you get away. That is the most important thing. Splitting apart does not help you in that regard, at least in my opinion, right? Yes, you could say the Leona is going to be a big difference, right? With the Solar Flare, it can catch at least one of you, not both. But it's still, that's how you do it. You cannot leave your ADC out to dry like that again.
Yeah, if anything, Luctus needed to be the one who ran back towards the tower, and Dad needed to be the one who ran up river. But yeah, as you said, one of those things where I think these small things are going to happen for Dad and Luctus, but and they'll slowly there. When you get a curtain call here, Bomb Boy is low. First one misses, second one hits. FB is just simply going to block. And a nice Blade Whirl on the force shot to prevent the damage. So the Lancers will not find a kill on this bottom side of the map. They did lose first Dragon, but I like this for Deadliest Wave. Immediately roams up to the top side. He just says, look, we'll just basically trade Dragon for Rift Herald. And I think this is a good call to keep his team objective-wise even with Redbird Jr. Academy.
It is going to help quite a bit, but as you were saying in the mid lane, Man of the Night having a bit better time now and is actually the only lane I think that has a CS lead, or at least a CS difference, but Rainmaker on the top side trying to get a dance out. It's little aggressive moments between everyone, and I really, really like it. But Man of the Night has been getting a little bit more pressure, right? Getting the lasers down, getting the pressure, and getting the plates. That is what's going to be the call for the Victor. No real jungle pressure, just do what you got to do as a Victor, and that's going to be very important come mid-game.
Yeah, this is how he's built that CS lead. Force, no cap, Rhino back. Does look like Deadliest Wave making a roam top lane. See if he can pull up another gank onto Rainmaker. Here comes Deadliest Wave, nice pillar, the flash away, the nice Ripose to get the spell immune, and that's going to force them to retreat from the tower, and Rainmaker will live to see another day.
It was a close one. It was a little bit of a close one. You saw the dash actually get countered there by the pillar and had to burn the flash, so well done. Well done, but in comes another gank. Can they block it this time? Yeah, there you go.
They're taking notes from you, Orbital. Now can they live? Here comes the ult from Luctus. FB forced to heal. He's incredibly low, but Dad has to be careful.
They went back in. No.
And Basher Smash going to pick up one. Dad trying to flash away under the tower. Can the tower carry the damage for them? FB says no, and the Scion just simply has too much life. FB barely survives that tower shot.
Oh man, they were out. I do believe Dad and Luctus were out. Now Rainmaker's going to get the re-aggression and the reaction.
Got the ult here from Nari. See if he can actually kill him under the tower. Unfortunately, he pulled him away from No Cap Rhino, who actually could have just one-shot him under the tower, but he'll get the snipe anyway. So make good on that. The Varus picks up a kill on a nice little roam there from the Lancer mid lane.
And the thing about it right now is we're seeing a lot of pressure go down to the bot side, and I think that is the appropriate call, right? We saw what happened with Dad and Luctus. It's a problem. Yes, you got away. You had the right call. You body blocked. You decided to turn it, and it was a 50-50, right? A little bit of a 50-50, difficult time there. So you went for it. I do appreciate that one, and you know you'll try your best again later. The problem is it's working, right? The fact that Basher has been allowed to do this twice in a row is a problem, but the nice thing is Lancers have been able to respond, not on the bot side specifically, but getting ganks on the top side and actually getting extra gold out of it, not just with a kill, but you pick up a couple plates, right? That is going to be the all-important factor because, as you can see, more kills over to Redbirds, but still relatively even, only about 300 gold difference between the two teams.
But the good news for the Lancer, what I will say, is they're improving on their Basher Mash ganks, right? The first time, absolutely ate it. The second time they listened to you on the Black Shield, they just re-engaged. Meanwhile, though, no cap Rhino forced the flash out of that Chaos Storm. He will once again barely survive. So I assume the third time Basher Smash comes down, they will Black Shield and run away. Third time's the charm, Orbital. You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. They won't get fooled the third time, I'm betting.
I gave up on that, actually. Like, I know what I have to say, and at the same time, it's like, it's asking for so much, right? And at the same time, there's only so much a Black Shield can do, right? There's only so much a Shield can do. So absolutely no hate for even trying to get out of it. The main thing is just Lunctus and Dad need to stop thinking that they have to fight everything, right? Get out. That is your main objective. Get out of this laning phase in decent standing and don't give the Samira any more kills, because we said it, right? The whole fact of the Samira and the Leona is you want to get out of control. You want to get wild. You want to go crazy with this setup. That's your win con, and that can only be done if Lunctus and Dad step up and out of control. Oh, mid lane. Good poke.
No cap Rhino, maybe looking for a piercing arrow. Gonna use the Chains of Corruption and picks up the easy kill on the Man of the Night. Meanwhile, top lane, Rainmaker is in the Death Realm, but this time, Nari's not gonna need the assistance from anybody. He picks up the kill. Rift Herald goes down. Don't think she's gonna get the charge off in time for the plates. That'll be very close topside. I don't think she's gonna get it off, though.
Yeah, no extra plates. Or actually, yeah, you did get a little bit. You lost out on the last plate, but it's enough, right? Yeah. Plenty of gold going into Nari on this top side, and that's huge, right? This is a massive win for the side of Lancers, and now with FP taking quite low, we're seeing them win all the way out. Huge pressure on the top side. They got a second charge off, and that breaks open the top lane, so Lancers now control top. Flash in the mid lane as we get some revenge, and Luxus in the bot side is going to body block without Black Shield. Feels bad.
Saved his 80 carry, though, right, Orbital? That's the life of the support. At least you gave up your life, and you both didn't die this time. I saw Bastard Smash in the jungle, and it was only a matter of time. And that time, Black Shield might have been on cooldown, but Luck just takes it for the team. As you said, they crack open top lane. They are going to lose this second dragon. It is a Cloud Dragon, so the early dragon stacking for Redbirds going to at least go in their favor depending on what our soul will become. Should be one of the more powerful ones. I'm somehow, Orbital, by the way, running like a 60% Cloud Soul rate in the NECC. I'm like a bad luck charm for effective dragons, but this game, that's not the case. It is an Ocean Soul, which, honestly, for the Redbirds, isn't going to be too bad, especially if you're the team that wants to go into a team with disengage. You go in, you get turned away by a Morgana Binding, you heal it all up with the Ocean Dragon, and you try it again. So that Ocean Soul could be huge for the Redbirds if they can pick up the next two dragons and have like a 25, 26-minute Ocean Soul.
I really think it's the indirect buffs that's going to catch actually both these squads, because considering what Redbirds want to do, having extra bushes on the map helps a lot, right? You want to go ahead and find those opportunities to get that, max Scion Q smash. You're looking at the side of Lancers as well to find those random bindings to go out, or the piercing arrows, right? There's so much that can be done from Fog of War that I'm very, very interested in seeing from both these squads and how they play around this map. But I gotta agree, right? Whoever gets a soul is going to be absolutely omnipotent come the late game. The problem is it doesn't feel like Redbirds have control of that dragon as well as they would like, right? With the opening of Nari in this top lane, you can allow that teleport to roam in. No cap Rhino now becoming an absolute force in the mid lane with that Natcher's Tooth. It's going to be terrifying, right? The third time that they go for this dragon in about 3 minutes and 40 seconds, you are going to be challenged in either a 4v5 or a 5v5.
Yeah, I'm not sure who can match Nari anywhere on this map if he chooses to just simply say, I'm going to split push top lane, then I'm going to split push bot lane, because, I mean, Fiora's right now 0-3, unfortunately for Rainmaker. Maybe Bastard Smash could do it, but he is all of your, at least major engages. Right now, Luck is going to walk in. Speaking of engage, here comes FB right on top, but Dad has a free poke from the backside. Stopwatch going to go after Luckus. Meanwhile, Basher Smash has been caught, forced to flash over the wall. Deathly's Wave going to flash into the Q. Chaos Storm going to go out here as well. No cap Rhino on his way, but the rest of his team is incredibly low. The Chains of Corruption do go out, and oh my goodness, the damage on the Man of Night. It's suddenly a 2v2, and Rainmaker and Basher Smash are not healthy enough for this. It's a huge shutdown for Nari. And right now, this
Oh my
Varus is a
gosh.
problem as Lunctus somehow lived, by the way. Absolutely phenomenal for the Lancers right there.
I don't know how they lived on the bot lane. All I can assume is they went a little bit too hard too quickly, and neither side had any extra skills to actually use at that time. But Dad and Lunctus living in the bot side, very important. The jungle fight, the scramble, we saw Redbirds. That is the closest that we're going to get to a perfect timing, right? A chance being given. The fact is that they didn't have the damage behind it, so a little bit of a problem here. Man of the Night getting outclassed right now against the AP Varus. It's a scary time, right? This is getting a little bit too far out of control. Ooh, flash forward.
FB is going to flash in. Black Shield is going to go out. Lunctus will fall. I think Dad is just going to walk away with the force shot, not try and do anything too crazy here. So a nice pickup for FB and Bomb Boy.
Very, very nice. And again, it is going to lean with the fact that FB is going to have to make these plays. This Leona Samira is going to be the linchpin of opening up the opportunities for Redbirds. And I'm a little hesitant because you're running into the fact that Nari in that top lane can immediately steal the Samira away, right? Immediately steal away this ADC who's going to be making the big flourishes and not allowing it to be in a team fight, right? So it's a battle of the top and mid versus the ADC of Redbirds, and I'm going to be very, very excited because so far, wrapping things up. Global Objectives leaning a little bit more towards Lancers, who have now gotten the second rear tailed and are going to be looking to open up the bases even more. They took both topside towers. I think dropping it in mid, opening up the mid a little bit more than bot side is going to be more important and, you know, make some space for the rest of the team.
The Herald on no cap Rhino. I think probably, as you said, going to mean that they'll break open the mid. That's just going to increase their vision even more across this map in this game one. As we get to that third and that fourth dragon, if you can open up that mid tower, you have so much more freedom across the map, which this third dragon does spawn in 50 seconds. Meanwhile, it's a great route on FB. Deadliest wave with the double pillar. FB trying to dash away. Blade Roll's going to come out, but the curtain call should be curtains. It's sniped actually by the Morgana binding. So Lunctus will pick up the kill. Not ideal, but it's still a kill nonetheless for the Lancers. And they'll take that because now that means there's no AD carry available when Dragon enters the Rift. And that's going to make it harder for the Redbirds to contest this.
Yeah, that was just grab the kill and go, and I think a really, really nice play. Again, for Lancers, you want to make a play before the Dragon comes up. That was huge. That was very, very important to be able to pull off, and that's going to be Chain of Corruptions to try and fight the spot side.
We're going to miss the Zenith Blade here. Here comes Basher Smash on the bottom side of your screen. Man of Night just absolutely eviscerates with that Chaos Storm. Here comes the Scion. Bomb Boy, is he going to be able to survive? Yes, he will, and all of a sudden it's a disaster orbital, just when we thought they had done it perfectly.
Oh, that Scion's bringing a lot more pain, and I said it, right? For
Yep.
Redbirds, it's the engage that they can bring, right? Yes, there's disengage, but when all that disengage is expended, right, the Chain of Corruptions, all of the extra, you know, the Black Shield not being available, you just die. You just die, and the fact that no cap Rhino died with Flash available says a lot, right? You were looking for the kill, you knew you were probably going to die anyway, and that was very important. Basher Smash and Man of the Night are going to try and bait out this dragon, but this is going to be important. Who gets the smite?
We're going to have nice snipe picked up there by Basher Smash. Deadliest Wave not going to be able to survive, unfortunately. That is a huge kill over 2FB. I believe Nari did try and teleport in, but it was stopped, and I think that's kind of where the plans went awry for the Lancers, is you didn't have your 401 Mordekaiser, and that makes it just a lot harder.
Yeah, that was a very, very good stop. I'm not sure what exactly stopped. I think Bomb Boy went in with a little bit of a root stun. So very, very well timed, and this is actually Redbirds getting a huge catalyst, a huge opportunity. Because again, we did say for Lancers, what they had to do is win the early game. They had to come away from the early game in good standing to be able to lay down a type of siege and have the damage available to react to the opponent. Right now, that's a little bit difficult. No cap Rhino getting burned out of the mid lane right now. You don't win that. You don't. Man of the Night says get out.
No cap Rhino realizing he's not as powerful as he once was, and now Nari has to be careful. This is a 4-0 Mordekaiser. This would be a huge shutdown if they could pull it off. It's stuck in the gravity well. They will. Basher Smash gets the kill, gets the bonus gold, and all of a sudden, all the advantages the Lancers have built have evaporated, and it's now a 2K gold lead for Redbird Junior Academy.
Oh, this is this is dangerous, Fish. This is becoming a very dangerous moment here. You're taking a look at what they have to offer, and I mean, where do Lancers actually go from this? They chose an early game composition, and their damage doesn't feel as powerful right now. You're hoping for No Cap Rhino to bring out a lot of long-range poke, but look at this, right? Constantly being aggressive, constantly being in the front lines. Lancers have got to be aware that they are now on the back foot. They've lost multiple fights. They're now on solo point, and now that solo flare comes out. Oh, the damage.
That is a dead Morgana. We'll maybe get the Zhonya's off. Maybe we'll turn this. A teleport is coming in. No Cap Rhino is here. Here comes the Inferno trigger from FB, just trying to get away. Curtain call. Will they be able to find it? Bomb-Boy gonna look for the block.
Oh, the curve!
Gets it around. Meanwhile, top lane, Deadliest Wave and Rainmaker going at it. And I think this is a fight a Trundle should win 10 times out of 10. And that is the case. Meanwhile, though, Basher Smash is bot lane. A great Chaos Storm is going to obliterate Dad. And here comes the Scion running it down on No Cap Rhino. Mana Knight gonna pick up a second one. And every time the Lancers have something go right, Orbital, something goes horribly wrong as well. I think the Unstoppable Onslaught should, Oh?
Well, it doesn't have to hit. It just needs to open up space. That's all it needs to do. Huge plays from Redbirds, right? And again, it comes off of FB and Bomb-Boy playing up a little bit aggressive and saying, hey, I can make this work. They lose out. Granted, they land the Solar Flare. They force Lunctus and Dad to fight a little bit too far. But Man of the Night, excuse me, is an absolute monster. The lasers and being level 16 with 2.5 items, you're ridiculously strong, right? And this bodes very well for Redbirds, who we talked about, right? For the squad, they want the soul. They want the soul so that they can engage, they can have extra HP, they can do all this stuff, right? They are poised to do that. 17 and 11 at 24 minutes. They have all the makings of just steamrolling this game and not caring about anyone else around the sides. They are on soul point. They have all the items in the world. There is no healing cut on the other side either. Lancers have not optimized for that factor. In a minute and a half, Redbirds are going to feel invincible.
Yeah, I mean, every team fight we've seen has just simply gone Redbird's way. It usually started out with the Lancers getting a pick and then immediately falling over. And I think we've seen just the difference between these mid laners, right? The Victor is able to put out more constant damage with the laser, with the ultimate. Well, meanwhile, No Cap Rhino, he's either got to land a Chains of Corruption or he's got to auto-attack someone 3 times, get that Blight stacked up, then hit the Piercing Arrow for his big Wombo combo. And you're not going to be able to auto-attack multiple members multiple times with a Scion in your face, with the Man of Night burning you down. And it just, I think the degree of difficulty for what No Cap Rhino has to do, Orbital, is just, it's a lot harder than Man of Night, who just needs to line up a laser, slam an ult down, and he's basically two-shot people, because as you said, he's level 16. That's 2 levels above everyone else in this game right now.
I'm just... Man of the Night has impressed me very, very much here. Redbirds are showing off that they want to play high and wide, but getting a little bit of fight. Oh, no.
Lunctus is just simply going to die. He'll eat the Scion ult there, as we do get a teleport in from Nari, so it is a 4v4. If there's ever an even fight, this would be it. Rainmaker can join whenever he wants. He does have the teleport, but I think right now he's just going to try and simply push for that tower, because even in this 4v4, I think the Redbirds might be stronger. They do land a root onto FB, but the disengage goes out. The dragon is spawned. Orbital, this is your chance, Lancers. They've got to take a fight at some point, but they can't even get in.
They have no engage. They have no way to lock anyone down. It's skill versus press R and CC. Lancers have no way to get in, right? Look at this. Now they're just gonna chase. Oh my gosh. They have nothing. They have nothing. And if this signals anything, it's the fact that Lancers are not in control, right? They do not get to control where they go. They do not get to control what they fight for. It is Redbirds. Redbirds control everything from the macro to the micro.
And you called it from the draft. You pointed out the Lancers don't have a go button, and look at all the go buttons that Redbird Junior Academy has, and look where we are now. 26 minutes and change into game number 1. Redbirds with a near 7k gold lead, and they're just going to shove it down mid. And at this point, I'm not even sure the Scion is killable by multiple members of the Lancers. This should be an easy walk it into at least an inhibitor turn. Look at the amount of damage that Dad is taking from Man of the Night. He does get hit by a binding. Another one to follow him up, but that'll barely slow him down.
Yeah, this is... They're just trying to play to hold off right now. Varus is down on the bot side. Thankfully, Nari is quite tanky, but I mean, look at this. Look at this annoying push that Man of the Night is currently laying down. They don't have to worry, right? They have soul. They're not worried at all.
They're literally feeling the damage they're taking right now, just looking for a window. Whenever they do find it, Chain of Corruption is going to go off. Chance here for a great Zanyas to dodge the pierce the arrow. We do see the Chaos Storm come in. Lunkus is just simply dead. Deadliest Wave is going to try and jump onto Basher. He will be able to pick up the first kill. Inferno Trigger going to burn down Nari and Deadliest Wave. The Scion passive going to try and punch down Dad and No Cap Rhino, and I don't think these 280 carries are going to survive very long all by their lonesome with the tower. Dad does flash forward, picks up FB. But they have to be careful of Man of the Night, who's still barely alive and gets away with his life. And all the while, Rainmaker just pushing top lane.
Rainmaker doesn't care. Rainmaker is doing Rainmaker things. Like, you're fine, right? This is all you need to do. And again, it came out in a 2 for 3. Again, Redbirds don't care. They're fine here. It is the slow burn, the slow death right now for Lancers, because they don't even outscale. Like, I hate saying that. They don't outscale. They don't really have anything that breaks out in crazy amounts of damage. I mean, you could, yes, say the Jhin is going to be able to pop through, but Basher Smash is way too strong right now, right? At this point, for Lancers, you are hoping for the picks. You are hoping for Nari to be able to grab FB, or I would actually just say FB at this point, take him out of the game, and then you're hoping to lock down Man of the Night. You need to have that Chain of Corruptions land once again. We saw it before. We actually did see it before. It landed just as Zanya is able to get him out. If you can take down Man of the Night, you have a sliver of a chance to be able to fight everyone else. The problem is that sliver is about 0.01% of a chance, nothing more.
Yeah, and I mean, when the Zanyas is off cooldown, it's going to be even harder because the Chains of Corruption is going to land, he'll Zanyas, then you're going to have to combo it up maybe with Lunkus if he's able to survive. So as you said, there's a sliver of a chance. I will say they did get some good pressure that depending on where the waves are, if they get one clean ace, especially if Dad, No Cap Rhino, maybe even Deadliest Wave can survive, they have a decent amount of tower pushing pressure to the Lancers. But again, it's about finding that sliver of a chance. Baron is up. And I mean, maybe this even comes down orbital to just a simple Elder Steel for Deadliest Wave. And that, you only got to hit Man of the Night for, 3/4 of his life instead of all of it. And that might be the difference maker.
Well, with the seal, you do have to have vision, and you do have a ward down, so they might do what they want. But Man of the Night is, of course, playing spoiler, and might be playing spoiler a little bit too close. The rest of the team comes in. Oh, my lord.
Great unstoppable onslaught there. Man of the Night going to pick up one. No Cap Rhino will just simply die. Inferno Trigger going to burn down Dad and Nari. Nari in that death realm with FB. He's going to flash over the wall into the Baron pit. Nari going to follow. He's going to find, though, that the rest of his team is long gone. FB gets the kill. And Redbird Junior Academy, I think, just has to figure out how to end this game because they are in complete control right now. Nearly 10,000 gold up order.
You know what? I don't blame them for not being able to close it out, in that one swing. But they are closing it out, right? Rainmaker has been pushing on their own for so long. Currently one of the highest CS numbers, 223, is an absolute beast in their own right. Just slowly breaking things down. And honestly, Redbirds, you could just say they're taking things nice and slow, saying, hey, we want to make sure to, kind of line up all of our chickens in a row. We want to make sure everything's good. We have gotten all of the objectives. We are not worried at all, especially with Man of the Night at level 18, right? They're taking these slow, they're taking these proper, and ensuring that they get this win.
Mid inhibitors going to go down. We'll see if they want to try and end the game with Baron, if they'll look to maybe just really go for the win more concept, as they're going to take down this bot lane inhibitor as well. Keep the pressure on the Lancers base. Basher Smash taking low, but look at that Chaos Storm nearly two-shotting Deadliest Wave. The curtain call will come out just to try and create some space, if anything. Man of the Night gets hit, doesn't even take any damage thanks to the Q shield. And as you said, I think they're just going to play this slow. They're going to play this correctly. They're not going to take any risks because Redbirds know what's at stake if they can take down the top team, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to prevent any sort of Elder shenanigans because I think they're just going to back with Baron and be all set up with their extra gold here to take this Elder, win the game.
Yeah, and if you don't know how large of a gold lead 12k is, look at the items, right? Look at mid lane specifically. Man of the Night, completed items. Completed. I said that correctly. Full build. Look at No Cap Rhino, right? Like, No Cap Rhino is trying so hard to catch up. you're not going to be able to. That is just a problem, especially going for the Rift Maker, which I don't see as a great item. Normally you would go Ludens or anything of the like. The fact that you opted for Rift Maker and an elongated, I just do not like that item right now. I'll get back to that later. But they're ahead, right? Lancers are so far behind right now, and this is a last-ditch effort, but I don't even think they're going to be allowed that sort of effort to even chance this Elder.
All the while, Rainmaker with about a minute left on Baron is just pushing top lane. He's going to force NoCap Rhino to go up and answer him. So this is a 4v4 steal at best, and making a 4v3 is Lunctus. Oh, actually, we'll get out for now. I think it's just a matter of time. Basher smash styles on him. Rainmaker gonna make his appearance on the Rip, pick up his first kill with that solo onto NoCap Rhino, and that is basically game. Deadliest Wave eats the auto. He is dead, and it is all but GG whenever Redbird Academy chooses to do so, because they're gonna get the Elder. Rainmaker's in the base. They have Baron for 20 more seconds. I mean, they just really are just, you know, they're padding the stats at this point, Orbital, because this game is long over.
Yeah, I would like to know if they're actually worried about dying or if they're just straight up, you know, we want to make it look good, right? Outside of the two Rift Heralds, they have not dropped a single objective. They have held on to most of their towers. They are so strong. Look at that.
Yeah, Man of the Night's about to just start shredding people. When he only has to do a quarter of your life, you're in a lot more exposed position as Redbird Junior Academy pick up a Game 1 victory here. And looking for the sweep on the top team of the Navigators lower Midwest division coming into the night. And I mean, you called it, Orbital. You are apparently the prophet. You absolutely nailed that prediction with the go button. And unfortunately, Lunctus and Dad never quite figured out how to handle the Scion on the bot side.
It was a choice, and I see the reasoning for a lot of the picks coming out here, right? If you look back at the draft, and again, for those that weren't tuned in before, it's very difficult to talk about it because they picked an order, but the Mordekaiser getting countered by the Fiora, we knew that was going to get outskilled, right? The Jhin came out as a blind, I think, and then the Samir Leona came afterwards, and then the Morgana just to counter. It felt like Lancers tried to go for a full reactionary composition, which means that the lanes themselves, you do have some leeway, and that's why I said in the laning phase we can see some of that power, right? We can see the Varus getting some of the trades off proper with the arrows. We can see the Morgana and the Jhin getting some wins. The fact is, though, if you try and go full reactionary, you sometimes don't end up with a composition. Didn't have a go button, didn't have a way to push their own small advantages on them onto Redbirds. And Redbirds took advantage. Mid to late game, completely theirs.
Yeah, I think, as you said, I mean, it's hard to talk about the draft, but I think that Scion, that first pick Scion that they ended up flexing jungle, I think honestly kind of threw the Lancers off. I mean, they don't think they really were expecting that to be a jungle Scion, and it showed in the bot lane. But we'll take a quick break. We come back. Can Redbird Junior Academy pull off the sweep and turn the Navigators lower Mid-East division on its head, heading into the playoffs? Or will the top team, the Lancers, figure things out and get us to a Game 3? We'll find out right after this here on the NECC.
choices you made, would you make them again, 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 again? All the lies that you told, did you believe in them? All the choices you made, would you make them again, 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 again? All the lies that you told, did you believe in them? Again, 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 again. You make them all the choices you made, would you make them again?
All the choices you made, would you make them again?
Would you make them again? All the choices you made, would you make them again, 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 again?
Are you told aware even about your guy? Are you told aware even about your guy? Are you told aware even about your guy? Are you told aware even about your Are you told aware even about your guy? 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 Are you taught that we're even about your?
Welcome back into the NECC Navigators Lower Midwest Game 2. About to start here. Fish and Orbital calling all of the action. We've got UWin Esports Silver, the top team in the league. Orbital trying to turn things around after a bone-crushing, soul-crushing Game 1 defeat at the hands of Redbird Junior Academy on the back of a very well-designed Go comp. Really centered around a fantastic Scion and a fantastic Victor play. And curious to see what UWin Esports has up their sleeves, Orbital, to figure out that team. And it starts with the draft. Very curious if Scion or Victor even make it through.
I don't think the Scion and Victor were necessarily the points, right? Like, they were good. Let's be honest. They were good. They were allowed to be good, right? Those are both lane matchups or champions that should be punished fairly early on. We know a Victor can be punished because it's now the new Orianna is the best way I call it, right? It's a very nice mid lane. You just kind of sit there, you farm up in mid to late game, you do a crap ton of damage. We literally saw that roll out. Scion, kind of the same thing, was allowed to power farm to level 6, hit level 6 before anyone else, and play the game appropriately from there, right? That is something that should not be allowed. You should be able to go in, bother the Scion, get the Scion behind, force him out of the jungle. They should not be able to power farm, not gank a single lane, and still be able to affect the game in that early game. That's what it feels like, right? The fact of the matter is, it feels like Lancers just optimize a bit too much in their lane focus, and I want to see them round it out a bit more with their own agency, right? Don't react so much to the opponent. You can react, don't get me wrong, that's fine. But you need to be proactive. You need to have a way to go forward at your own call instead of flashing forward, right? You can't just rely on a flash. You can't just rely on a ghost, whatever you want to say. You got to have something that allows you to CC the opponent. That's all I ask for.
At the same time, Orbital, I will say, especially for the bot lane for the Lancers, I hope they learn to dial it back just a little bit. Because the reason that Scion got so far ahead, despite never being bothered, is he just feasted on Luctus and Dad in that bot side because they were always pushed forward. Because they were trying to be the aggressors into a Leona. The moment Scion hit 6, that unstoppable onslaught was just basically jammed on cooldown in the bot lane. Double kill the first time, single kill the next time, single kill the next time. And it got to the point that Scion was ahead, the Samira was ahead. If that bot lane just plays it a little bit further back, and this is the one thing that I think really kind of hits kids in collegiate is OPGG exists, because you look at Luctus, only Thresh player. 117 Thresh games, nothing else. What got first banned last game, Orbital? The Thresh. Immediately taken away. You're putting him on something uncomfortable. And I think, I will say, it's a great job by the Redbirds scouting it out and saying, we're going to make you play something you don't know how to play like this. And they did it perfectly.
I like it. And agreed. That is the appropriate answer. But right now, we are into the draft. And, of course, we swapped it out. Lancers are on that blue side. So a little bit difference in there, as you were saying. The Thresh is taken away. The fact of the matter is, though, Thresh is one of the best all-arounders, meaning if you main Thresh, you can get away with, like, a nice 66% efficiency on it, most other champions, right? It's a hook champion, it's a save champion, it's a utility, it does everything, right? The Thresh does everything. So if you're a Thresh player, I would say you can play just about anything else to a comfortable degree outside of just pure healing, right? You're looking at your Leona, you're looking at the Lulu, you're looking at like the Soraka, right? That's what I'm seeing here. However, Ragnar, who I mispronounced her name multiple times in the previous game, Ragnar goes Darius, and this was also the first pick, so Ragnar just going absolute ham in that top side.
And the other thing to point out here is Dad and NoCap Rhino actually swapped Orbital. Dad now going to be in that mid lane. NoCap Rhino going to be on that bottom side of the AD carry role. Both of them playing AD carries last game, but interestingly enough, that Katarina is what Dad loves to play in his solo queue games. So I think being able to swap maybe caught Redbird Junior Academy off guard, saying, well, we don't need to ban Katarina if Dad's on that bottom side. So instead now, Dad gets something he's very comfortable on. I think this will be interesting to see how he goes up against the mid lane matchup, which I want to say, based on the lobby, I actually think Basher Smash and Mid of the Night also might have swapped jungle and mid on the other side, which I think is a more interesting call that we'll have to see if that is true in game, Orbital. But I think that's a big swap, is the Lancer saying, look, let's just switch who's playing what role and see if we get better efficiency out of our mid lane, and maybe NoCap and Lunctus have a bit better time on that bottom side of the map.
And I mean, I like it, right? We're already seeing a nice swap up just in that top side of the map, right? Combined with Dad on the Katarina, you have Deadliest Wave going for that Amumu, and it's a little bit more agency, right? Yes, it's a little bit, I want to say one-dimensional, right? You just go in, you press R, and you're good. But it's synergized as well. This is one of the things that I said I had a big issue with the Lancers in game number 1. They didn't have a go button. This time they have one big go button. And they still have the peel that they're trying to work with, right? Lunctus on that Braum is going to deny so much coming in. The problem comes about is Redbird's Junior Academy have so much that they can use to get away from that fact, right? Vi is unstoppable in the ultimate. Camille can hop right over, get the Hextech ultimatum. It feels like Redbird Jr. have a more cohesive macro game set up in stone, right? This still falls in line with what they were playing in game number 1. Very forward, very synergistic in their style. Yes, it leaves a little bit to be desired in the laning phase. That mid lane, it can go one of two ways. Yes, the Vex is a counter, but it can be very dangerous. It just feels like Redbird Junior Academy feel a little bit more cohesive in what they pick and how they want their composition to go.
Yeah, I think everything most of the things you talked about in game 1 in the draft apply here, right? Redbird Junior Academy, again, have multiple go buttons, whether it's the Vi, it's the Camille, potentially the Nautilus. I mean, the Vex even has the ability to Shadow Surge and go flying into Land of Fear. And while the Lancers at least improved, yes, they picked up the Amumu, Deadliest Wave, going to be able to maybe go in, hit a Curse to the Sad Mummy. Besides that, again, you're relying on what? A Ghost from Ragnar, potentially. Maybe Braum tries to go in with the ult to start things off. There's still not a lot of go buttons for the Lancers. And putting Deadliest Wave on more of a, passive team fighter jungler as opposed to the Trundle, where he was able to make plays across the map, I think it's going to be interesting to see how the lanes can now handle without having a jungler who can immediately add to the fight as opposed to just being more of a CC-oriented champion. So I think the Lancers lost maybe their best strength from early in game 1, but they added the one thing they were ideally missing, Orbital, which is that go button, and I'm not sure if I feel like that makes the team better than what we saw in game number 1 versus Redbird Junior Academy.
Yeah, the thing is if no matter the champions that they play like they did in game number 1, they're actually, I think, going to see a lot more success, right? The reason for this is they have so many other champions that can follow up on the aggression. If you're looking at that mid lane, right, the Varus was meh. Trying to follow up on a Trundle gank, right? You can get a little bit of poke down, but it's not too much. And even if you get the kills on a Varus, it's not that strong, right? Yes, you get a little extra poke, but it's not going to be that catapulting into the stratosphere hyper carry that a Katarina is or a Darius is. So Deadliest Wave, yes, it's a little bit more farm heavy. Normally we wait and see for an Amumu to hit level 6 as well, much like the Scion in game 1. But I do see Deadliest Wave just saying, screw it, right? We're going to go jump. We're going to go fight in the top, in the mid, maybe in the bot side as well, because the Nautilus is going to get up in your face. The big question mark that they're going to have to watch out for is I want to see Redbird Jr. get in their face in the enemy jungle, right? I want to see the Vi get up in the face of Deadliest Wave, and I want to see that Vi absolutely mangle the jungle path.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see if either team does go for more aggressive, as he pointed out. I mean, the Lancers basically let Bastard Smash just kind of farm up on that Scion, let him hit level 6, a very similar route that I think, as he pointed out, Deadliest Wave hopes to do. And I am curious how this bot lane will go. I'm curious the synergy between NoCap and Lunctus, because, I mean, again, Dad and Lunctus were in the face of Redbird Junior Academy every chance they could get, and it ended up being really their demise as they ate multiple deaths, multiple fantastic ganks. Now, Vi, of course, doesn't have the same range as the ult from the Scion, but it still has the ability with that Vault Breaker to get over walls, close some gaps, come from some unexpected areas. So if NoCap and Lunctus are up in their face, and I will say, NoCap in that mid lane did not throw out very many wards early on. I think there's still a path for that Vi, which again, I think is man of the night. It's not Bastard Smash. We'll have to check when the game starts, Orbital, to be able to just kind of feast on this bot lane and basically do the same thing we saw from that Scion in game number 1. And it's not a Samira, but that Caitlyn can still absolutely pick this team apart if she gets ahead again.
Yeah, Caitlyn is still seen as like the top tier ADC, right? Caitlyn was banned away, I think, every single game except for game 5 in Worlds, and it's still prevalent, right? The ADC role is sparkling right now with that kind of crit damage that has been coming out here. So, as you said, a focus on the bot side. Not just that, if that is actually man of the night in the jungle role, it still doesn't mean that Basher can't follow through, right? The Vex is well known as a gank roamer as well. Once you hit level 6, you go in with a Shadow and you absolutely demolish people. So instead of maybe just one jungler roaming around, you have one in a pseudo as soon as all 6 hits, and then follow up with the Camille, right? Like, this is so much of a forward composition from Redbird Junior Academy that I feel it's going to outclass a little of what Lancers are hoping to do. So I'm very, very excited. But as you said, the main thing is checking those lane swaps. The lane swaps are going to be most important for the side of Lancers. It's going to be most important. We see Basher, or not Basher. I'm very, very sorry. It is brain does not want to work right now. It is No Cap Rhino and Dad swapping things around. And actually, I want to say.
Yeah, I think it's a sub, actually. Looking at it, it's
so
not
double
Man of the
checking
Night.
back. Sorry, we both double checked. I think at the same time.
Yep.
End
we
of the
did.
line comes in. Okay.
So end of the line will come in at the jungle roll. Basher Smash will go to the mid lane. And interestingly enough, which we might have to talk about this in a little bit, because it looks like the Redbirds are going to make this aggressive play, and there is no forward warning from Ragnar, though he is going to be able to see them just in time. This is, I think, more of the comp that, looking at the Redbirds roster, you are expecting Orbital, because Basher Smash is a mid lane player. End of the line is a jungle player. So they kind of won on off roles, and now going into game 2 looking for a sweep, they have players on their main roles, which I think is even huge for the Redbirds, where I think the Lancers are clearly trying to make something happen with Dad and Rhino switching.
This is new information being tossed at us left and right, and I'm very excited for this, right? Leading up to this, I was curious. This division, at least from game number 1, if you were to just look at the team straight-laced, you would not have assumed that Lancers were the team that are 6-1, right? It was very much Redbirds dominating from about the 12-minute mark or so. It just felt like they were in control. So right now, Lancers are not only having to prove to themselves what they can do, but it's to prove to everyone else that leading into playoffs, it's going to be a powerhouse moment. They have to be up and about, and they're going to be the ones trying to say, hey, we are actually a team to be feared, and we don't have any gaps in our armor. Because, again, as you said, moving into playoffs, you have to be a little bit worried. Are you going to hide all your cards, or are you going to look for the win? It's really, it's really selective on how you want this to play out.
And as we talked about at the start of the show, I mean, I think the Lancers could go from anywhere from first down to maybe second, third, I think even maybe down to fourth, depending on how other games play out. I think the Redbirds even have up to the 2 seed in their pocket if they can pull out this win in some other games. We do get a nice dredge line there on to Lunctus, eating more poke just like he did in game number 1. And now he's going to eat a trap and a headshot as well. And yeah, I mean, do you hold your card back? Do you play for seeding? And I think that this game will show a lot of maybe the Lancers are just simply trying to make it to playoffs and not show too much Orbital, and that could maybe explain the lower level performance compared to the record, but I don't think you want to have that option heading into playoffs. I think you want to win every single game that you can.
Yeah, and there is something to be said about balancing, right? The main thing to think about is if you do just kind of like hide your pick all the way through, it's like, oh yeah, that's fine. You get placed. The fact of the matter is, there's a difference. And right now, end of the line, doing exactly what I said we want to see. Deadly Slave getting shoved out in the jungle. Appropriate.
I want to say he also managed to steal his blue buff as well. I know at one point everyone had kind of conjugated around that blue buff. Didn't actually end up seeing who had it, but I do believe it is that buy, which if there's a jungler that needs the blue buff outside of Karthus, I think Amumu's probably second on that list. We do see a dredge line land on a Lunctus. This could be a chance here to pick up the first kill, and they just miss. Meanwhile, end of the line now is caught out. Deadly Slave going to miss the bandage toss. So a great pullback in for Ragnar. End of the line will go down, and they lose first blood. And Dad looking for more, maybe going to chase down Rainmaker here. All of a sudden, the Lancers, this lane slot paying off. As meanwhile, we look back down bot lane, No Cap Rhino eating a ton of poke. Eats a trap as well. FB misses the Q, and another low health bot lane survive for the Lancers.
Yeah, FB and Bomboy, they had a nice time in game number 1. Now they're having a fantastic time in game number 2. A problem has occurred in the top side of the map, though. Lancers were gifted a kill. And when I say gifted, I truly do feel it was gifted, right? End of the line had no reason to be in the jungle for that much longer, and it was appropriately punished in this situation. I think it was very necessary, much needed, and it's something that we do have to watch for, right? The fact that the kill went over to Dad, this big hyper carry mid laner who I mean, it's a Katarina, right? You don't want to give Katarinas any extra kills, any extra farm at all.
Right now, that is the one part that Dad is struggling because he was pulled over to that mid lane. He is almost down 20 CS to Basher Smash, but can easily make that up. And the blue buff was on that Katarina, so Deadliest Wave, despite the assist, did lose his blue buff, so this first clear gonna be a little bit more rough for that Amumu, especially having to back. So power farming to 6, kind of that same gameplay we follow from the Scion, isn't going to work for Orbital. He's gonna have to find other ways to maybe get an assist, pick up some XP, or he is going to be lagging behind right now, kind of in that support level range for a little bit longer until he gets things going. Meanwhile, Dad, is he going to get caught out here? Oh, nice jump back. You can see the master of the champion, but he might simply just be caught out here. Meanwhile, we go bot lane. Exhaust is going to go on to FB, trying to get away from Lunkus. Here comes Deadliest Wave. It's a great way to make up experience. He's just got to pick up a kill. Great bandage toss, going to flash on top of Bombboy. This should at least be one. And FB should just simply be a sitting duck, as he will go down as well. That's a double kill for the Amumu, and all of a sudden, Deadliest Wave's back in the game.
Oh no, and on the top side, Rainmaker's gonna bleed so much, and Dad lived in mid lane, so everything turning the way of the Lancers here. And was it full on their own, their skill? Maybe not, but it's the appropriate, we are taking advantage of a situation that has been gifted to us. End of the line. I don't think you want to be here right now. 3-0 is what they're sitting at, and Deadliest Wave, yes, collected both the kills. Feels kind of bad. You were hoping to give at least one to No Cap Rhino. It would have been nice to hand it over. However, this now means the Amumu, who was run out of the jungle early, is now perfectly in sync. We are going to see a swing back of Lancers in saying we are now back in control. We are going to be that team that is going to be in your face, overly aggressive, and consistently take over those team fights.
That was the worst case scenario. Oh, Deadliest Wave just misses one more. You had the Amumu behind, which is just, then you can look for more invades. You could continuously punish this Mummy. And end of the line, again, coming in cold, have to wonder, did they get a warm-up game in? Were they able to kind of take in game number 1? You don't know the circumstances for Orbital, and now you start to look and say, maybe was this better to stick Basher Smasher in the jungle? Because this Vi is a lot more aggression than we're used to, right? Basher Smash was just taking what was coming to him in this jungle. This Vi has tried to take several fights, as you point out, stayed way too long to give up First Blood, tried to make a play mid, and then tried bot. And speaking of bot, Lunkus gonna need an anchor to the face, throw up the shield, and just simply walk away. And this Braum working out a lot better than the Morgana for Lunkus down in the spot side.
The one plus side is, I will say that Redbirds have consistently been the ones to actually pull the fight off. So it's not been so much, hey, it's their own fault, and this might be why. Again, a great jump in.
Oh, Lunkus able to dash away to No Cap Rhino. So really nothing blown except a small cooldown here for this Braum. And Lunkus looking so much more comfortable than we saw in the Morgana. Another one of those big question marks from game number 1 for the Lancers. How could their support recover? Meanwhile, Deadliest Wave going to chase Basher Smash in the mid lane.
Oh, such a great denial.
Gets the bandage toss. Rainmaker's coming in. They got to be careful. Hook shot. Doesn't have the recast, unfortunately. That would have been huge with that Hextech ultimatum. But a great deny, as you said, by Basher Smash. Keeps himself alive for now.
Yeah, okay, Dad, okay.
Bombboy's here. Can Bombboy get rid of the tower? No! Oh, man. Katarina mains and diving towers and dying Orbital. Name a more iconic duo.
People chasing Singed. That's the other one. But looking back at it, I wanted to point out the fact, all the way before all the action kicked off on all different lanes, is the fact that even though Lancers got 3 kills, it's been on the back of Redbirds choosing to break the fight out, right? That is the most important factor, and now we're going to see this again break out. The wall goes up a little bit earlier. Not sure if that's what they want.
Oh, they do land the hook on the No Cap Rhino. I think they wanted on the Lunkus.
Great
They
turnaround.
still get
Great
the root
turn.
from Bombboy. The exhaust not going to matter. And as you said, maybe on the back of some Redbird mistakes had the Lancers built the lead, but it's slowly evaporating.
Yeah, the kills that came out, Lancers have gotten it on the reaction plays. That's, I think, the main thing to think about. And reaction kills are great, but it still means that you are not the ones dictating the pace. It's not being proactive. You're not getting extra out of it. It's literally, well, we denied them getting a kill, and we don't get anything else. So this is really where we're seeing that first try, as Basher Smash in the mid has been kind of punished over and over again. But Redbirds, if they get kills, it feels like they get significantly more, right? Even with the 3 kills, 3 to 2 kills, Redbirds are still in the lead in the gold and now in this 2v2 in the mid lane. I still feel like they could win even... Okay, well, now Lunctus is here, and it might be a little bit more difficult.
They are going to get the Rift Hill charge off. Unfortunately, Basher Smash couldn't get in range, so the first Rift Hill of the game only nets end of the line 2 plates. Felt like maybe an overreach there. Probably didn't expect Lunctus to come down. End of the line still hanging around, looking for a pick here onto Dad, and we're all gathered up in the mid lane for a very smashing good time, as here comes Deadliest Wave. He's going to be the one that gets caught. Dredge line will go out. The amount of CC is just absolutely phenomenal. Curse of the Sad Mummy, though. Here comes Dad. Not quite able to be stopped by the ult, and all of a sudden, it's the Redbirds who just simply get too aggressive and die in the Lancer's jungle, giving up a double kill.
Aggression's going to be the name of the game here.
Yep.
Again and again, we're seeing end of the line be a little bit too overeager, right? And now on the top side, Rainmaker, this is not a 1v1 that you want to take. Lancers are being given opportunities. That's what it is. And the fact of the matter is they are capitalizing on it. When they see an opportunity, they respond appropriately. When a mistake is made, they make it so instead of losing just an inch, you lose a foot, and that's going to stack up. Dragon does go over to the Lancer's way. It was hard fought, but they need to do it a bit more, right? Deadliest Wave is now 2-0-3. I want to see Deadliest Wave being the first to those lanes. I want to see Deadliest Wave being the first to any major objective, being the first one forward, and being the one to start those plays and help the team out.
Yeah. Also on the opposite end, I just want to see end of the line. Like, we're running like a 9 right now, Orbital. I just want to see him tone it down like a 5 for just a little bit. Stop, stop taking every single fight. The Amumu is, I would say, past you in terms of fighting prowess right now. Stop trying to get these 1v1 picks. And meanwhile, Dad is coming bot lane. He did walk over a ward. So looks like they're able to spot that one out, though that ward might actually be pink. So let me just a quick little eye over to that Tribush. And the Redbirds bot lane will not get caught and feed this Katarina a couple more kills. And this is the one downside, though, for Dad Orbital. He's trying to make plays. That CS is making it harder and harder for him to stay in the game. Meanwhile, Ragnar gonna take a fight.
No.
Here comes the Hexaball ultimatum. Can Deadliest Wave get in time? He flashes over the wall. He's trying to get in range for the Curse of the Sad Mummy, but it's still on cooldown, and it just finally comes off. But he's not going to be able to find end of the line. No, he does with the bandage toss into the Curse of the Sad Mummy. And it's a 2-for-1 in the top lane for the Lancers.
It's happening again and again. Deadliest Wave gathering all the extras here. And that was a fight that, honestly, Redbirds allowed a gap to happen. Now in the mid lane, we're seeing Basher Smash get a little bit of a hop on. But again, it's a Vex. You get extra shielding, you get extra damage. So it's really just a trade of HP. Ragnar, though. Ragnar played it fairly well. Getting the full application of the burn down or the bleed, very, very important. Allowed Deadliest Wave to pick up extra kills as well. And end of the line, really, 3 times now you've gone in for the gangster. I would say even more so. And you died 3 times, right? The deaths to value ratio has really not been there. So I'm still questioning a lot what's happening. We're seeing the gold expand a little bit more. 700 gold, 800, going higher and higher. The thing is even though the CS is still there, and now we're gonna get jumped in. Okay, yeah, you don't get out of this one. That's a painful reminder. Basher Smash picks it up. The main reason the gold is not worse, the reason that we're not seeing that expansive gold that's finally kicking in here, 1k, is the fact of the matter, the CS for Redbirds is actually heavily in their favor. Like, that's the only thing keeping it close here.
Well, we might get a play here from Bomb Boy on that bottom side. Is Deadliest Wave just trying to soak the tower after his mid laner got caught with the shot open in the mid lane. I don't want to make that mistake. Is Basher Smash does get a great root on the Deadliest Wave, but it's Ragnar coming in for support, not the Camille that I think Basher Smash was hoping for. So he wanted to run away. That was an out of mana move. That was a free kill. If that wasn't for Darius, it's a great roam by Ragnar.
It's that moment that you're just like, oh yeah, that's not my teammate. Oh crap. But again, Basher did have flash, so the fact that Basher is now able to hold their own against Deadliest Wave, I think is going to be very important, right? Basher Smash has been the one that Deadliest Wave has actually been very proactive in trying to kill, right? Trying to get Dad in the front lines, 1, 2, and 2, get a little bit more CS, get a little bit more farm. It has not worked. Out of all the players currently in this game, Basher Smash is the only one that is yet to die and has an extensive gold lead, right? 113 CS to their name, Very, very important to note. What we are seeing, though, is the rest of the team starting to realize that they got to group up. They need to start working together. End of the line has to realize that these ganks have to be on point. We got to see some chip damage, because if you try and gank Ragnar again, this is going to be a dangerous spot. You have a high chance of getting 1v2'd, and I think that's wise, right? Clear out a ward, back away. Don't go crazy.
Oh, Luck is going to drop the ult onto FB. Bomboy now trying to disengage. No cap Rhino with a Feather Storm. Not quite able to land it. FB has to flash away. Heal going to come out. Can he get out of range? He cannot. And unfortunately, the Dredge line was not able to stun No Cap Rhino in tower range in time. So all of a sudden, it's a great pickup of the bot lane. Meanwhile, Dad going to try and go in on Basher, but end of the line hanging around. But they will lose first tower bot lane. So the Lancers continue to maybe make bot lane. It's just a different story bot lane. No Cap Rhino has brought new life to this bottom side of the map for the Lancers here in Game 2.
Oh, it was huge, right? Very, very important to watch for FB and Bomboy. They had a little chance earlier, and now it feels like No Cap Rhino and Lunctus have been the recipients of Deadliest Wave and Dad really opening up the territory for them. So, very, very important to know. Right now, Lancers, though, going for another objective. Who gets a smite? Who picked it up? I think that was end of the line. Nope, Deadliest Wave got it.
First the Sad Mummy goes out. It might be end of the line. The side of the Redbirds on the top side. End of the line falls. Rainmaker trying to run away. Can Dad get range for one more auto? Yes, he can. It's a double kill. And here comes the reset for the Katarina. The death load is going to go out. The depth charge will stop him as Basher also forced to flash away. But that's still 2 plus the second Herald to the Lancers side of things. And now they can pick up Dragon. They can crack open mid. They have a ton of options here as we hit the mid game.
Oh, this is... It's becoming pain now. This is the only way to put it. This is what we were worried about, right? The hyper-scaling ability of the Lancers. If they're given an opportunity, a Darius will get out of control and a Katarina will get out of control. Deadliest Wave picked the perfect champion to just afford an opportunity, right? Even though they're 3-0-6, they didn't have to be 3-0-6. They could be 1-3-5 and still be very, very useful, right? It's just that press R that is so important. And now FB... getting out of harm's way, very, very important. But, oh, okay, No Cap.
Oh, you're going to get a follow-up here from the Shadow Shift, but a great Feather Storm to get the immunity, though unfortunately they will get rooted.
But can they actually burn?
Is taking all the damage. A great block on the ace of the hole as well. Bomboy goes down, and oh, no, Orbital. Basher Smash goes down, and the Lancers, the first-place team, they're showing why they're 6-1. This FB, I don't think you survived this. Yeah, you don't. No Cap? You're...
Nah,
okay,
No Cap's fine. There's a lot of disbelief that No Cap lived that. But again, it was so well done. And we're seeing it, right? The Redbirds are playing it smart. They're trying their best, right? The engages actually look really good, but they're suffering the same that Lancers had last time. This time around, they just don't have the gold. They just don't have the damage. And honestly, Lancers... You know, I don't know what they're trying to do with their mascot because the Lance is well known as, like, the strongest piercing weapon, right? At this point, it's the shield in their logo that's giving off amazing glory. You block a punch from Redbirds and you stab back. That's all you have to do. And they've done it perfectly, right? The 13 kills that they have gotten, I don't think a single one has been off of an aggressive attack on the opponent. I have not seen Deadliest Wave actively look for a kill. It's been always answering, right? Where's end of the line? Okay, end of the line is here. End of the line is there. We will respond in kind. We will go in with that ultimate. We will follow up and get the kills instead. Lancers are proving that they are a strong reactionary composition when they give themselves the right tools to work with. That is very, very important. So right now, Lancers looking much stronger, have the gold lead, have the dragon lead in their favor, and would you know it, Fish? We're getting an Ocean Soul again. Right now, normally it's Clouds. We are 100% on for Ocean Soul.
That's just going to help the Lancers even more as Ragnar about to see the power of this Darius. He's right now in a 1v3, not quite able to get the Noxious Guillotine. Reset off Rainmaker, but still will pick up the kill. Though he will be sniped out from FB. So finally something goes in their favor, but meanwhile, Dad on the bot lane gets a solo kill onto Basher. Deadliest Wave going to go in here onto Bomboy. There's no backup right now as Luctus has found FB. No Cap trying to chase down their support. Pick up another kill. The stun should all but guarantee it. The Feather Storm really just overkill at that point. The Lancers, they lose one and they pick up two. And they'll take that trade anytime.
they're happy about this, right? This is Lancers starting to be that 6-1 team that's like we can take anything that we want. You saw Deadliest Wave going ahead, straight up power farming in the middle of the lane. So well done, but now we're gonna see a last ditch effort here.
NECC ultimatum comes out, so does the Shadow Surge. Does like a great two-man fear. No Cap is dead. A huge shutdown for the mid lane. Luctus really should fall in time. Now the question becomes, can they get Air of Dad? And the reset shouldn't mean they can, but the minion wave bails it out. And they're only able to get up 2. They lose what could have been another 300 gold shutdown. That is a huge miss for the Redbirds.
I mean, you got 2, right? That's more than you've been getting recently, so you'll take... Oh, no. No, Rainmaker, no!
Here comes Deadliest Wave. He smells it. He smells a counterattack. Can he get in range in time? He gets feared. If they had stayed in just a second or 2 longer, Orbital, that could have been a triple kill, and really we would have been maybe saying it's time to go to game 3, but the Redbirds survived for now, but just barely. Just barely. Still nearly 5k gold difference at 20 minutes. That's never what you want to hear if you're trying to look for a sweep on a team if you're already down 5,000 gold.
Yeah, I don't think they have the opportunities, right? And we could see something. There is a small world that we do see a difference from Redbirds, right? This is a team that is, even though they're behind, they still get to dictate when a fight actually breaks out, right? Deadliest Wave is still focused on farming 4-0 and 8, going for, I believe that's a Rylai's or, I want to say that's a Rylai's or Demonic Embrace. So it's going to be burn damage one way or another. It's going to be the way to slow people down and burn them through. Not going to be as major tanky as we normally see, but still very, very scary to watch for. The thing is Redbirds still have the potential to lock down a singular player. If a singular player steps up, if we see a Dad step up a little bit too far, if we see No Cap Rhino step up too far, they will die. That is, at this point, a fact. If we see Pasher Smash, FB, End of the Line, and Rainmaker all just dogpile on top, they will get a kill. And if they find a couple matches like that, it's a huge win. The question is how many other players are going to take down in that same process, right? Basher Smash ready to go on the side for this Dragon, a very important third trade.
Oh, now Ragnar's going to engage. Here comes Deadliest Wave. He is going to force a flash away from FB. Dad now on the backside, maybe trying to get on Basher Smash. Right now, they'll can't really find a target to pick. Finally, the Lancers do find one. It's Bob who's going to go down. Dad's getting the resets. He's going to pick up a second one here. No Cap Rhino. Great use of the Feather Storm. And that is going to be an ace for the side of the Lancers. They only lose their 80 carry. And I think that about explains how Game 2 is going to go for the Redbirds. They just simply cannot find a target.
They got away a lot faster than I thought they would. Deadliest Wave didn't want to use that Curse of the Sad Mummy right away. Wanted to catch at least 2 to 3, so they were able to slip off to the side. But you saw the step back into the fight, right? FB stepping back into the Tri-Brush, lost vision, and Lancers played it appropriately. Very well done on their side, and we're now seeing them be that proactive side. Yes, it took a little bit longer than expected, but hey, you know what? At this point, you're fine with it. Redbirds took their time getting the win in game number 1, and this time around, you'll take your own. Okay, Dad, okay.
Katarina one trick is here. Dad able to get out of that. Now Ragnar's in a 1v4. Basher does eat the exhaust. They're still surviving. Dad.
Oh my gosh.
No! He picks up 2. Is he gonna get 1 more? Is he gonna get out? I don't think so. The Vault Breaker will finally stop him, but that was like a 2v5 at one point, and then Lunctus bailed on him. They should not have gotten 2 kills there at all, Orbital. The fact that it was an even trade is very scary for the Redbirds.
Yeah, that the fact that they were allowed to even pick up a kill is monstrous in its own right? It shows how far ahead the Lancers are, and that's the scary thing, right? Dad is running that extra get out of jail free card, the flash, right? Along with the jumps, you can just hop around consistently. FB was all the way in the back of the fight, still got killed. That is very important to see. Dad at this point is so strong. 2.5 items has it sitting on that Hex Drinker for quite some time. You can't burst out the Katarina. This game is sorely in their possession. They're the ones on soul point, and really it's just a matter of time. Redbirds, they have to keep trying to grab extra gold back. It's all about just grabbing these measly scraps, and can they scrape together enough before they have to go ham, right? Can they scrape enough of these shutdowns? They got one on Dad. They got one on Ragnar. If they can grab Deadliest Wave and grant it over to FB might be able to pick up a little bit of the cut, right? Lord Doms would be perfect in my opinion. If FB can get up to a sustainable level, we could see something swing if Lancers misplay.
Yeah, the big thing is, he said, not only do you have to get the shutdowns, you need to get them onto the right people. If somebody like End of the Line, somebody like Bomb Boy accidentally picks it up with a wrong auto, with an Ignite, that's so much bonus gold as FB is going to eat the concussive blow. The ult's going to go out here from Lunctus. Doesn't really have any backline right now. Is Ragnar going to come in from the side? Dad off picture skill as the bandage toss is going to land. Rainmaker with an interesting little wall toss there as he will get caught down by the Curse of the Sad Mummy. Here comes Basher, really just trying to look and disengage with three-man fear. And for all that, they still lose one member, and Dad wasn't even pictured that entire time. And he's the strongest member by far right now in terms of damage for the Lancers.
They're so strong, right? They are so strong right now. This is also a point where you're like, they're definitely not playing it right. Like, Lancers are not exactly playing it perfectly. But the fact of the matter is they're playing with enough bravado and enough confidence that it doesn't matter. There is a point where macro just doesn't matter. You can tank all your mistakes and be fine. We're at that point, right? We are at that point where the Lancers, they can walk in 1v5 a fair margin outside of no cap Rhino and still be allowed to live. That's their margin for error. They're fine with that. And so it's Redbirds that had to play this immaculate post-game setup. And you can see here, really, for them, it's all about negating how many deaths you have, right? The lesser of two evils, cutting down your losses. You can see FB here trying to collect a little extra farm. Sitting on level 11, that's the painful part to think about. They are drastically behind, so getting extra farm in FB, you know, every camp helps, and I think that's very important.
As you said, I mean, the style the Lancers are playing, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of ways this game could have gone, probably maybe, you know, be close to being over. Instead, they don't even have an inhibitor tower down. And the problem with the Lancers is they have the gold right now to tank their mistakes orbital, but if you lose, as you said, if you lose a Deadliest Wave one fight, you lose a Dad in another fight, these shutdowns are eventually going to start adding up. So they need to make sure they start to look for a way to close this game. I think Baron is a great call. Basher is going to get vision on it, but I don't think anyone on the team is going to get there in time. He's going to have to try and stall. The Glacial Fissure is really just going to ensure that Basher doesn't stop anyone. Baron goes over, Vex falls over, and now we'll see if the Lancers want to just try and end this game right here, right now. Dad looking for a way in, going to eat the 90 caliber net, going to land the knife. Can he get to FB in time? He can with the flash and the heal. Get the Caitlyn to safety and a nice dodge on the bandage toss from Deadliest Wave.
I love it. I love it. FE said, you know what? I'll get at least one out. That looks cool. Bomb Boy is going to go boom. Arab Dad actually chased all the way under towers. So that is a Katarina, pretty much plain and simple. It's game here. Rainmaker just going to try and run interference. This is Lancer's game to finish off.
Dad gonna pick up the tower, gonna pick up the Camille. And the line! We'll get a nice steal onto the dragon there to at least prevent the soul. But at what cost? His Dad will die. Great little root there, and fear by Bachelor Smash to stop the Katarina, but I don't think he can save the base. As Deadliest Wave is gonna try and stop the back on this Vi. One Nexus turret down. Should be just a matter of time, except no cap is attacking the minions. All right, a little bit of a confusing play there for the Lancer, because now end of the line, able to get back in. Oh, the feathers, it's able to kill a couple, but I feel like this game should be over right now, Orbital. I think those minions were worth nothing.
Oh, it was, but it was definitely worth that. Ragnar flashed to finish off the kill and inadvertently flashed over the ace in the hole, which ended up getting Rhino killed. That is one that you're just like, I totally plan to do that just to screw with them, and FB is not going to fall. So yeah, this game should have been over a couple minutes ago. But Lancers, it feels like, again, they're a team that don't really know how to close out, right? And that is understandable. It's fine. It's okay. And now, yeah, see, no one's alive, and they're just like, oh, yeah, we could just end the game here. So they'll close it out here and be okay. So well done.
Yeah, the inhibitor win. Patent those NECC stats over to... Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh, wait. Can they not end?
There's caster curses, and then they're saying the game is over, and we're still here.
You know,
what have you done? What have you done?
There is a point. I try and be very kind to teams with my analysis. I try and be very kind. Lancers, if they are playing with their food, they deserve everything that's coming to them, right? Like that is what I feel right now. They had multiple times to end it right there. Some of the clearest information that we could have seen, right? If for some reason they do lose, I will be very surprised. There is that possibility. There is a very real possibility that they lose if they keep making these same mistakes. Like Dad right now. Dad right now is just, that's not good. We did see a little bit of a disconnect, but I think Rhino's going to be back in just a few seconds, so that is... No way. No way. No. No, that shouldn't be allowed. Okay, there we go. There we get the chase. That should... Did you really just auto-attack that? Oh my gosh, Rainmaker. Thank you, Rainmaker, for getting the kill. You closed it out. You're happy. You're fine. No teleports available. Are we actually going to see this happen?
The minions actually might... The minions can't be stopped. They don't have brains, luckily. They can't outthink themselves. They can't outsmart themselves. As Ragnar is going to get a couple of dunks.
Okay.
This should finally seal it, as you said. No Cap Rhino is back. We're still here, but I'm thinking we won't be for very long, Orbital. I'm hoping.
We are hoping. We are hoping. We like to talk all we want, right? We will talk all we want. The Lancers still played a phenomenal game. Outside of closing this out, they have played so well. Their counterattacks have been so appropriate, and I think that is so well and true. No. Ragnar,
FB's in the back. FB's just throwing out damage.
Yeah.
But I think the gold is it's the gold dip.
All right, there we go. Now we can actually discuss this post-game fish. Now we can discuss it. Lancers played the early game about as well as you could have asked for, right?
Yep.
Yes, we could have asked for a bit more proactivity, but again, it's an Amumu. You can't really ask for early game ganks unless you... Moments like this right here, this is off of a counter engage, right? The collapse came in, and end of the line, it was punishing mistakes. This entire game can be kind of encapsulated in the fact that Lancers punished appropriately. That's all it was. So for Redbirds, if you're looking into game number 3, the mistakes that you make, just don't get over aggressive. Honestly, the early game was going well. You were still in somewhat control, but these plays, right? The plays that made you feel like you were trying to catch up, that you were trying to make up for your mistakes, take the sunk cost. Take that sunk cost, and you will be more than happy. You'll be surprised at what you can do. And again, like this right here, just constant fights back, the constant re-engages, gave Deadliest Wave and the rest of the team so much. I mean, really well done by them.
Yeah, I think the theme of all of these replays is none of these are, the Lancers being proactive, as you pointed out in the game mode. It was never the Lancers made a great play up until this is maybe the first one. We're 15 minutes in, and that's the first time it said the Lancers were the ones who pulled the trigger on a fight, as opposed to just, as you said, a great counter attack. And that is exactly what they played. I mean, they played in the Redbird strength. Are the Redbirds maybe after that game 1 kind of said, look, maybe this is, in the bag? I'm not really sure. I do think the one thing the Lancers did really, really well is the swap with Dad and Rhino. Dad looked so much more comfortable in the mid lane. Rhino and Lunctus just seemed a lot more in sync in that bottom side of the map, because that was the big turning point in game 1, is that bottom side fell so far behind to FB and Bomboy. They just could not fight in fights like this, where Rhino is going to make a fantastic play. He's going to stay alive. I think this swap worked perfectly. I doubt the Katarina gets through, so the question becomes, what can Dad play besides his one trick? But I will say credit to whoever on the Lancers called, hey, let's have Dad and Rhino swap. They're not going to see it coming in the pick bans, and we're going to be able to put Dad on his favorite champion, and he did not disappoint in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I am looking at Deadliest Wave is actually the one that I'm curious about, right? We can talk about Dad all we want, but Deadliest Wave has a lot on my eye, right? This is now, we've seen Deadliest Wave play the Trundle and have exceptional prowess. Game number 2, we see the Amumu. It's a complete swap of style, but it's more than necessary, right? It was more than enough. Do we see Deadliest Wave actually go back to that Amumu? Do we see the Amumu left open? What do we see? What does Redbird see? as the primary threat. And I want to see Deadliest Wave actually back more on the CC route, right? I really, really liked what it brought to the table. The fact that Deadliest Wave was always almost playing second fiddle, and you still do okay in that sense. I think it's going to do okay. I think they're going to be fine, but I want to see Deadliest Wave on a champion that is allowed to make the plays instead of having to out-micro the opponent, right? So, Dad, maybe on another hard fighter. We know Yone is very much in the meta right now. Can be another great duelist outside of the Katarina. Is that actually going to be it, though, or not? Who's to tell?
Yeah, I mean, just looking at what I can see from Dad, looks like mainly a Katarina Zed 1-2 combo. I know the Zed has been banned, and you know, so maybe the Zed ban they picked up on didn't quite think the Katarina would come through. I didn't think on the other side, you know, we're talking about subs. I'm curious what the Redbirds will do in that jungle role. Do they bring back Man of the Night and put Basher back in the jungle? Do they keep End of the Line, who I don't think played an awful game, but the aggressive style isn't what won the Redbirds game one from the jungle perspective. It was a lot more counter gankings, knowing where to be, and End of the Line was fight. I mean, that first replay is him getting caught in the jungle, as you pointed out. He was there for 30 seconds too long. So I think the Redbirds have some subs they might need to figure out as well, but we're going to take a break. When we come back, somebody's going to pick up a win here in this Navigator lower Midwest. Who's it going to be? Will it be the top-seeded Lancers, or will it be the upstart Redbirds looking to pull off the upset? We'll find out here after this on the NECC.
How you talk that way even about your
Welcome back into the NECC. Game 3 of this Navigators Lower Midwest Slug match. It's about to take place. Vision Orbital here. Redbird Junior Academy came out strong. Kind of ran into a buzzsaw in UWin Esports Silver in that second game, Orbital. Now we have our decisive Game 3. The Lancers UWin Esports 6-1. Trying to lock in the top seed in the playoffs if they win. Meanwhile, Redbird Junior Academy trying to maybe sneak up to that third, maybe that fourth place spot. Currently sitting at 4-3. And I think... all questions are going to be on the table here heading to this Game 3 draft, Orbital. I have no idea what to expect between these two teams.
Yeah, so far there are, I would say, 2 or 3 notable things that we can say. Number one is Redbirds play a proactive game. That does not mean that they succeed with their proactivity. It means that they are usually the ones to start things off. They are willing to go into those fights. They're willing to try and make those ganks happen, right? The Vi in the last game was very appropriate. We saw some of the earlier ganks as well in game number 1 with the Scion. They like to be proactive. Do they get over antsy sometimes? Do they play above their means? Absolutely. That's understandable. But when they have a lead, they don't let go. On the other side, for the side of the Lancers, we see that their counter initiation can be very, very good. They're a team that knows how to, throw a counter punch to be able to, hit up those moments where, hey, we have to group up in that moment, and it helps out a lot. Does that mean they have to play off of Redbirds? Do they have to wait for an opportunity? Yes. Does that mean if Redbirds make a mistake and it will be punished? Absolutely. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. It's Redbirds being proactive, not being too over aggressive, though. There's a difference between proactivity and just outright, kind of all in or nothing. And for the side of the Lancers, maybe see a bit of proactivity on their own. I want to see them maybe try to initiate their ganks, or if so be it, stick to their own guns, play the reactionary game, but play it well. Force mistakes instead of letting mistakes happen.
I think the big question as well is, what do the rosters look like, right, Orbital? The Lancers really kind of won Game 2 and extended this series on the back of a great little lane swap between No Cap Rhino and Dad, who was playing mid and AD carry. They swapped roles. That kind of ignited the team, but that cat's now out of the bag. I guarantee you the Katarina probably won't see the light of day. The Zed was banned away already in Game 2. I would have to assume that Zed's going to stay banned. So is it Dad back in the bot lane? Is there going to be something that Lancers need? Because it feels like they just needed that spark. But that spark was only good, I think, for one game. That Katarina, get your one-trick champion is not going to work 2 games in a row. So I am curious to see kind of how those lanes go. And also, the jungle synergy for the Redbirds. We saw it was fantastic when Basher Smash was in there. End of the line, as you can see here from the stream, is going to remain in that jungle. Is he going to settle down a little bit? If you want to talk about being, maybe a little bit too proactive, end of the line was that. He was the one who was sometimes caught out a bit too much and allowed the Lancers to counterpunch. Can he tone it down in Game 3, Game 3, is going to be my question as we hop into the picks and bans. And there's the Zed, there's the Thresh. Redbird Junior Academy basically pretty much teeing up. They're not going to let the Thresh or Zed in, and I bet you this is probably a Katarina right here if I had to guess.
You are a psychic, or you had the script ready to go, and unfortunately we had the script ready to go.
Yeah,
it is appropriate again to note that the champions being picked up here are in pick order. They are not in the way that they were selected in the draft prior. So we do have a little bit of foreknown knowledge, but that also gives us a lot of insight into the fact that these teams are still sticking somewhat to their guns, but a bit more aggressive, and Lancers have a little bit of craziness set up for us. Redbirds are still sticking with their kind of tried and true method, very stock standard, very kind of front to back style. The Amumu coming back out, though, that is something that I'm very happy about, and the Darius as well, right? Darius had a fantastic time before. This is what I wanted to see, though, with the Katarina ban. The Yone is next up in line, and I love that it was picked up here.
Yeah, that one you called. No script needed. You absolutely predicted if the Katarina is banned, look for Dad, as we assume to be the mid laner, to go to that Yone, very similar play style. I like the Poppy for end of the line. I think it's going to allow for a lot more disengage from this team if he gets caught. That Vi was kind of all in, and then there was nothing left on the back end. I do think Rainmaker on this Ornn is also a very interesting pick, Orbital, because he's going to finally have either another go button or finally maybe a counter punch to the side of Deadliest Wave with that Ornhorn. Very interested in this team comp here for Redbird Junior Academy. I think they have a lot better picks. I think they've shored up a lot of the weaknesses in Game 2 with this lineup. I'm not a huge fan of Xerath, but we'll have to see. Maybe just a comfort pick into the Yone.
All right, well, let's not diss the Xerath here, as that is my homeboy. On the other side of the map is also my other homeboy, Vigar. So both of my mains here in the map. And I will say the Vigar was actually R2 for the side of Lancers. So the Xerath was actually picked up as a counter, but they swapped it appropriately. Lancers were able to bait out the Xerath pick and grant Yone a relatively nice lane. That matchup does not fare very well for Xerath outside of levels 2 and 3. The sustain from Yone is just a bit too strong. The only downside is now the bot side is complete CC and complete AP, right? For the side of Lancers, it can be a strong lane matchup, but you don't get as much trade potential, right? It's a farm lane, it's poke, it's very much, if you get into a fight, you are dead. And we know what happened when Lancers last time tried this composition, tried this style of play further back, try and play the poke, try and play relatively safe. They got punished for it, right? They did get punished very heavily. They do have better tools this time around on top of the Black Shield and on top of the Binding. You have the Event Horizon. It's a lot of utility to be able to use. I am just worried. I don't want to see them play too far up and get punished like happened in game number 1. So that's really where my eyes are at.
Yeah, with Lunctus back on that Morgana, I am getting Game 1 flashbacks where he basically kept pushing forward, and met his untimely demise several times at the hand of Bomboy and end of the line. So as you said, can they play back? Can they play this farming lane a bit more passive? I think is a fantastic question here. Again, this is Game 3, getting ready for the final match here in this Navigators Lower Midwest Showdown. Redbird Junior Academy on your left-hand side, trying to pull off what would be an upset, sitting at 4-3 right now over UWin Esports Silver. The Lancers 6-1. With a win, the Lancers would guarantee themselves the top spot in the playoffs for this Navigators Lower Midwest division, which I'm sure they are very much hoping for. I mean, I hate to dish your man, but I mean, I'm going to be honest, Orbital. As you pointed out, Yone to Xerath doesn't feel very great, and a lot of what Redbird won on in Game 1 was Man of the Night, farming up on that victor, and eventually being able to just 1v1 anyone in the game with just a couple of button presses. I don't know if Xerath can ever reach that point in this game, especially if he's trying to survive against a Yone for the first 10 to 15 minutes. I think Basher's just going to be on the back foot. I would like to see the Vex again, but as you pointed out, maybe it was, it's a Vigar, let's pick Xerath and the Vigar, and they just got counterpicked, but I think Basher got in a very poor spot here in this mid lane matchup.
Yes, and that is, 100% true. Now, some people say the Xerath-Yone matchup favors the Xerath in early stages. I do agree that the poke range is very, very good. It's just the sustain laner, the Yone gets out of control. Especially with a lot of champions currently in this duelist and in these burst potential moments, they can actually build a lot of armor and a lot of tank stats and still get away with the damage builds, right? Anyone that's played against a recent Yone knows that the build path can feel ridiculous, right? You can go Sunfire and then Bork can still be heavily powerful, right? That's how almost overpowered the kit feels. It feels very out of control. What we're looking for is end of the line to focus that mid lane, right? The Poppy is a great deterrent to the Yone. Very, very important to note. A Poppy with that kind of steadfast presence will block a lot of what Yone wants to do, especially with going back to the Shadow. It's going to be a pain, and that's where we actually see the difference, because if Xerath gets ahead, you can rotate that pressure outside of the Yone lane. That's actually how you win, is you get the Yone into a weaker spot, you rotate down, you right of the Arcane, the Vigar and Morgana, push that lane, maybe in the top side, try and put the Darius down, or maybe even allow the Poppy to gank into the jungle. The Xerath does not win lane. The Xerath does well as the backup to the rest of the team. So that's what you're looking at here. Basher, yes, in a 1v1 matchup, not going to be great. Outside of that, you have some potential avenues to work with.
I'm going to say I do not want to see End of the Line walk into the jungle. It did not work well for him last time on several occasions. Orbital, I would much prefer End of the Line play a much more safe Poppy build. Maybe focus around helping out Basher in the mid lane. As you said, there's a couple of ways to counter this Yone. I do think, though, the big question for the Redbirds is how will they handle Deadliest Wave on this Amumu, right? I mean, this Amumu was a massive problem in Game 2. The score line, I mean, maybe a little bit more inflated, couple of kills that you would have probably preferred on different characters. But again, 5-0-13, I believe, maybe even a little bit more once we got to that hectic Pat statting at the very end. How are they going to be able to handle that? Every time a Mumu was there, it was Bandage Toss, Curse of the Sad Mummy, multiple members are dead. Multiple members are dead. They've got to find a counter for the Mumu. The Poppy has it if they can knock him away in time, But if he already ults you, then it's too little too late. So they have to be tracking this Amumu. I'd like to see end of the line maybe set up some counter ganks in the sense that, I know that Deadliest Wave's going top. Let's try and meet him top, maybe in that top rush. But I do not want to see end of the line in the jungle, because if he falls behind, this Poppy's going to lose so much time, and I don't think they're going to get handed a double kill like we saw in the last game to get the Amumu back in it. So I'm really hoping end of the line plays this game with just, like I said, he was a 7 or an 8 last game Orbital. I want like a 5 in terms of aggression early in the game.
It's also extending the aggressive points, right? The invade was actually really good, I think, right?
Yeah.
And I agree. It's that tone it down. Once you get the invade off and you get the camp, leave, right? Listen to the calls of your teammates. The opponents could easily collapse in. That is the thing that we're going to see here. The good news is end of the line does have, I would say, a bit extra resilience, right? Under 50% HP, your passive actually swaps over to extra armor and magic resist. So you get that little extra padding of that safety net of saying, okay, well, you're below 50% HP. We'll give you a little bit of help here. So very, very important to note. But again, if you overstay, you're in trouble. What we do see is that that phase rush coming out. So end of the line is actually saying, I'm going to be ganking quite often. It's a very aggressive mastery to go. So I'm interested to see if that means that the lanes are going to be heavily dealt with. If we're going to see bot lane picked on, if we're going to see mid picked on, top lane. It's aggressive and I like it. I'm just, again, that doesn't adhere to the fact that you were talking about. It's not going to be a level 5. It's going to be closer to like a 6 or 7.
Well, yeah, I mean, you said it perfectly, right? The aggressive plays he made were good. He just needs to know when the aggressive plays need to end and we need to retreat. As you said, the invade was perfect until it wasn't, because he stole the blue buff and a minute later was still in the jungle. So if end of the line, as he said, wants to be aggressive with the keystone, that's great. Just no one to walk away. No one to say, look, this gank didn't work. I'm going to come back later. We got a flash. I'll come back later. Don't let Deadliest Wave come in. I mean, we saw a replay last time. They 2v1 Ragnar, and Deadliest Wave made it up top lane before they could kill Ragnar. Ended up picking up, I think, both kills and making it an even trade and really giving him that big advantage. So, end of the line, again, if you want to be aggressive, that's great. You just got to tone it down. And I will say, this bot lane is going to be very interesting to me, though. As you pointed out, this Vigar was probably picked to maybe lure Basher Smash off of something that, off of counterpicking the Yone. I'm curious how NoCap will be able to play, because we've only seen him on 80 carries this entire series. This is his first chance to really play on an AP champion and see how he's able to play it in this bottom side of the map.
I think it covers a very large problem that they had before, right? Which was the fact that you played aggressive and didn't have a way back out, right? The Event Horizon plus Black Shield and Binding creates a nullification zone of anyone coming in. And again, on this composition, you take a look at Redbirds, you only really have to deal with one person, right? You're fine with this. So we are going to see this consistent aggression come out. And again, the poke is going to help a lot, but the main one that I'm looking at is Lunctus, right? Not so much NoCap Rhino. It's Lunctus I'm very, very worried about. On this Morgana last time, played an aggressive push up. But this time you have almost no sustain in the back, right? No sustained damage. It's all reliant on the spell slinging, and we have to be worried about that fact.
Yeah, we just saw him eat a pretty sizable handshake there. Was able to heal most of that damage up, but there is some great poke here as well with FB on the Varus, so they're going to have those piercing arrows, as we're going to see right here. The Event Horizon does go down. FB taking quite a bit of damage. It is going to eat the Ignite and the Electrocute. I don't think he was prepared for the damage, and it's first blood over to Lunctus. Meanwhile, topside, Deadliest Wave is caught by end of the line. But here comes the revenge with the bandage toss, and all of a sudden, this could be a problem. Does he have the second charge off cooldown? Never mind, Ragnar gonna grip the Poppy back in, does flash away. But I think the bandage toss will do it. Yes, it will. Deadliest Wave picks up a kill, and he can't even fall. He tried to run away. He just simply could not escape all the CC.
The fact that Rainmaker decided that I don't even want to help that situation, I think goes to show Redbirds are keeping eyes on things. Because yes, you could have helped, but Dad in the mid lane on this Yone had priority over the situation. So it would have been a 3v2, and you would have lost even more. So I like that call, the fact that, hey, we were in a bad spot, end of the line is going to get punished for it. But we are seeing that cycle again, right? That cycle of end of the line getting into trouble and having some problems getting back out. So eyes are open now. 2 kills headed over to Lancer's side. and it feels like they're going to be able to really react a lot better this time around. We can already see Deadliest Wave joining in that mid lane to get a kill, or to try and get a gank off.
And the line also looked like a ping went out onto Dad. Looks like they did end up blowing the Yone flash in that mid lane off screen, but couldn't really find much more than that. But this time, end of the line, again, does just walk away, is going to be able to grab this River Scuttle, be able to kind of realize when the plays aren't there. And I will say, impressive that NoCap, Rhino, and Lunctus have stayed alive. I thought not backing after being at about a quarter HP was going to be a death sentence with FB's piercing arrows, but unfortunately not many of those arrows have found the mark, and they both have healed up passively almost to about half HP, and they're really safe in case they get caught on another engage here.
They're gonna sit back, be real happy about it, and just go, let's farm up. Let's do what a Vigar wants to do, which is play PvE, right?
Yep.
Good note, it is a very good champion to play in mid lane if you want the efficiency achievement, the achievement of kill 80 minions in 10 minutes. Perfect champion to do so in the mid lane. You just sit there. It's easy. It's free farm. It's great. Just a little note out there. So far with 35 CS as well, already picked up the Lost Chapter, is going to have no problems with mana in the bot lane. And that now means even more damage. Oh, Dad, you don't enjoy what's happening here.
And the line just misses the stun into the wall onto Dad. But again, this is kind of the style I wanted to see him play, right? Or we'll get in, make a play, get out. Didn't overstay his welcome, didn't allow Deadliest Wave to come get a counter gank. Simply said, look, missed the stun, I'll come back, I'll be back, don't worry, Dad. Just keep your eyes on that mid lane. And right now, Dad is taking a bit of poke. As he said, the poke is favoring Bastard Smash. It's just that burst damage, and as he pointed out, the Yone sustain. He's eaten several skill shots and, chain chugged a couple health potions, and he'll be totally fine.
Chug away, just get drinking as much as possible. But now we're seeing Bastard Smash rotate out. This is what I really like to see. Get the wards down, get the information. You are level 6. You are now the artillery from that mid lane, right? Oh, Ragnar tried to grab it. Going back to it, though, Bastard Smash just going to keep eyes, and Dad is going to be super aggressive now. This is the most frustrating part, right? Dad has almost no items, no real pocket change to work with, just boots and a dagger, and is still able to force out an AP carry. Like, that hurts so much right now.
Yeah, able to create some space. He does throw out the, every jungler's favorite ping, the flag on my lane, saying, please come help me now. Where are you, Mr. Jungler? We'll see if Deadliest Wave could do just that, but the wards will just allow Bastard Smash. We get a great apprehend here by Ragnar on the Rainmaker. Going to throw down the dunk. The bleed's going to seal it. Ragnar picks up one. I think Lunctus has disconnected, unfortunately. And FB will dishonorably take that kill. You never know. Sometimes they're going for the AFK fake strat. You can never be too careful, but I'd have to assume we'll see Lunctus is disconnected here in the near future.
That one, that makes everyone sad. Feels bad, but no honor among thieves, I guess is the best way to put it. In League, there is no honor. We'll leave it at that. So no. Lancers go ahead and watch as their teammate falls, but it's only one kill, right? Main thing is Ragnar on this Darius last time was not allowed to have that 1v1 opportunity, and this time around against the Ornn, you rightfully pointed out, said, hey, this is a dangerous spot to be in, right? Last time the Camille had a little bit of a difficult time, the Ornn is going to have an even worse time. So the fact that it's already... Oh, okay, there we go. We get the punch in. There's a kill. It was a little wonky. End of the line wasn't as clean as you would have liked. Still got the kill. Still great.
Looks like Lunctus is back, so good to see that was not any prolonged issue. I'm sure he'll be hunting for vengeance onto FB. I'm sure his teammates gave him the play-by-play of what was happening, but we've seen that a couple times. Guys get caught shopping. I think that's actually the second time that Dad has been caught shopping, and gotta close that buy screen. You can't be playing out your buys orbital until you're back in the base and the items light up.
Oh man, that is Windows shopping at its finest. That is a feels bad moment there. Dad though is gonna go back and opted instead of tier 2 boots, which is what we normally see, right? We see the Berserker's Greaves or whatever they're called right now. Instead going for the Noon Quiver, and I do like this, just saying, hey, I'm gonna have a bit more fun. I'm gonna be able to fight out. I'm gonna be able to duke it out against the Xerath a bit more. So I think that is a great choice to have, but right now, so much being laid down. Lunctus in. NoCap Rhino this is just playing out the laning phase, and I'm not sure who this really favors. Both sides just like, okay, we're not going to go for any major objectives, except for Rift Herald. So I did lie. Mumu is on it right now and is actually getting caught out.
I don't know if End of the Line did see him. He kind of walked past him, but he doesn't have any help. Basher Smash still stuck under the tower. Rainmaker kind of double back there, so they're just going to hand the Herald over for free. It was picked up by Ragnar. Looks like probably a signal, as you can see, both members are just going to try and get a gank. They want first tower onto Rainmaker, and I suspect this is a dead Ornn in the very near future, just trying to buy as much time as possible. Is going to get hit by the Apprehend. Deadliest Wave is there for the bandage toss as soon as the flash comes down. That's just permanent. He just didn't even get to play the game. You just take your hands off the keyboard at that point.
And I love it, right? We did say we wanted to see a bit more proactivity coming out of Lancers, and we're seeing it here, right? Perfectly done. Oh no, this is going to be pain!
Here comes End of the Line, though. They might be able to turn this as they did get the double berserk.
So
Bobboy
good.
will go down. The Event Horizon lands perfectly. I spoke too soon. Oh, unfortunately, the Xerath ult misses. I think he's trying to also hunt down Dad at the same time. It's Luctus versus End of the Line. One more auto attack will kill the Poppy. And he'll pick it up. That's a 3-for-0 in the bot lane for the Lancers. Absolute disaster.
That looked kind of funny to watch. Again, Lancers, they played it well, though. Everything that just happened was on their own proactivity. It was them making the move first, right? Lungtus getting a great binding in that bot lane, secured the kill early, and then the drop of the kill on FB. Following up behind, again, End of the Line. You're a Poppy. You bring great CC, and you kind of need your team, though, to help out. Top side as well, Rainmaker getting punished appropriately, played a little bit too far forward. Ragnar and Deadliest Wave making huge waves in that top side. You didn't get 2 towers like we saw in, I think, game number 1. I want to say they were able to take 2 off that Rift Herald, but this time around feeling a lot better. 2-7, 20.7k. They're in control. They're not playing for the Dragons as we've seen teams do before, instead focusing almost solely on the lane advantages.
You're trying to, I mean, again, if it wasn't for that Lungtus disconnect, we'd be up, maybe up 4-0 in the bot lane right now, Orbital, and this bot lane would be, I mean, not only are you a farm lane, but you're also just winning in kills. So Dad is taking a ton of damage. Bastard Smash actually has a 2-level lead. About a level and a half, excuse me, as Dad does level up to 9. But Bastard's playing this matchup really, really well. I mean, again, in this 1v1 that both you and I were kind of worried about, he's actually been handling it really well. Now, under the line, can he get the Dragon? Nice bandage toss, and he misses the smite. A great steal from Deadliest Wave. But the Amumu might pay with his life, and that would be a big 150 goal shutdown. Does hit a 4-man Curse of the Sad Mummy into an Event Horizon immediately. One goes down. The sealed fate from Dad, and you could just feel the wind get knocked out of the Redbird sails on that play right there. You lose Dragon, you don't kill anybody, Orbital. It's just they're stuck in the middle of the ocean now with nothing.
Yeah, this is more the Lancers that we expect to see. Very well done on their end. The reactionary play, the 4-man ulti from Deadliest Wave. They're playing like a coordinated team, and maybe they are a sleeper team. Maybe they're just a team that likes to play on a nice edge after losing game number 1. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But this is more of what we expected. We expected to see more coordination. We expected to see a bit stronger play from them. And it's working, right? The cheese, I wouldn't even say cheese, the flex pick, bringing Yone into the mid lane is working. And then, of course, Deadliest Wave being an absolute beast. Right now, though, this is, yeah, bomb, you're dead. There's nothing. You can't do anything.
I mean, I got to give props to NoCap Rhino. Again, it kind of felt like this Vigar turned to a flex pick. They are going to get a great binding. They're going to force a teleport down from Bastard Smash, and they're just simply going to walk away without even having to worry. But this Vigar pick is, to me, the thing that stood out. This was the big question of, was this maybe a flex pick? And it was something that Dad's like, look, I can play it, but if we can give you the Yone, it's even better, because NoCap Rhino is looking like a mid laner right now. Make me wonder why he picked Varus mid lane in game 1. It's end of the line. Can't quite find another stun on the Dad. Going to throw out the Chilling Smite. There's no assistance, though. Ragnar is coming down, and yeah, they just can't. Oh, they can't find anything at this point. I feel bad for the Redbirds. This series, I feel like I've watched like someone just steal candy from a baby after game number 1. You can just see the candy being ripped out of the baby's hand after game 1.
Oh, that is I feel that's very apt. And again, it's a team. This team, as we said, functions very well off of being the ones in the conductor seat, right? They function very well when they're the ones making the moves and moving around the map. And at this point, they're not allowed to. End of the line has been stuffed pretty much everywhere they go. Bash or Smash can't do anything in the mid lane, right? You're trying. You can see here, the poke is doing 9-0. You actually went for a burn build just to try to counteract the healing that's coming out of Dad. You're not going to be that strong. You're not going to bring that much punch to the table. At this point, it's damage control, right? You have an Ornn on your side. You do have that value in your pocket. You're playing to try and get just enough experience to try and alleviate the gold difference. Of course, that's not gonna happen anytime soon, right? You're taking a look at the gold difference. Ornaments aren't gonna help that much. But if you're able to sustain for whatever reason, if Lances get a little bit sloppy, there's a chance that you have an opportunity to try and get a little extra damage. You get the Varus online, you get FB, who is going the lethal tempo build, a little bit more ADC centric. There are small things, very, very small things that you can do that can give you a chance. Am I saying this is going to happen? Probably not. Oh.
Kate sealed and the bomb boy. A little bit of a weird interaction with the apprehend there that I think actually ends up costing Ragnar his... No, Ragnar's actually going to live, which is the worst part. Faster smash, one more auto, or maybe it's permanent soil from Lunkus will pick up the kill. And these were the windows that you needed, right? You needed to get that kill onto Ragnar. You needed Basher Smash, who's level 11, or maybe even level 12. You needed him to not get 1v3'd on the bot lane. I think, unfortunately, as you said, the Redbirds do well when they're in the driver's seat, and they just, unfortunately, have been relegated to maybe even the backseat at this point. I will say, though, at the end of the line, now he's not going to interrupt me. You pointed this out at the very beginning, Orbital. This is a Lancers team that plays a lot of Game 3s. I think this is their 5th Game 3 of the season. Yeah. I think it just goes to whoever's their coach is or whoever their IGL is. They adapt really, really well.
Yeah, they have a good idea. Now, the main thing is when it gets to playoffs, you don't want to see Game 3s. And as much as I, well, actually, if playoffs go the way we think, which is actually 5 games, you're going to see Game 3s. What we don't want to see is extra pieces handed to the opponent, right? That is something that you really don't want to see. You want to see teams close it out as naturally as possible. And this is the way to do it, right? This Game 3 should be almost a Game 1 or 2, right? We should see them be able to accrue these types of leads, this style of play. And maybe I'm even thinking that Game 1 was just testing the waters, right? Hey, we're going to try a different strategy out. We're going to try and play a little bit more micro mechanic-centered composition. Maybe that's what we can do here, right? And then, okay, well, that didn't work. Let's go ahead, swap back into our forward, kind of aggressive style. It's with CC, I should say. Maybe it's a changeup, but I would like to see them try and hammer down a smart routine here in the playoffs. I don't want to see them giving over games.
Yeah, and I think the other big question that they still have to answer, and with a 9K gold lead, this will be very telling for playoffs, is how they finish games. I mean, we made a lot of jokes about Game 2 and the length it took the Lancers to end what was a surefire win. And so I want to see them wrap up this game. I almost want to say, Orbital, 27 minutes if this game's not over, can we give the Lancers a loss? Because they should be able to finish this game in 10 minutes. I think this is a very big learning curve for playoffs as we get a great bandage toss into a Curse of the Sad Mummy. FB is going to go down the Berserk. Will not be able to land as they hoped. Is unfortunately no Cap Rhinos are also going to get caught on the bottom side of the map. And these are these small windows you talked about, Orbital. The series maybe not quite over yet as the Rift Herald goes down. But, I mean, it'll get a charge off, but not much more than that as they don't have the health or the minions to escort it.
They'll do enough, right? And yes, that was one, but this is where it's really at Dad wanting a bit more here.
Is able to just hop back to his spirit. Nothing lost, really. End of the line, unfortunately not able to trap him. And again, I want to see them end this game cleanly. That is my biggest challenge right now to the Lancers, as we do get our Hextech Dragon, our second Dragon of the game. Doesn't die until the 19-minute mark. So, hey, I'm 0 for 3 on Cloud Souls today. That's the biggest win of the day, Orbital. I am tired of seeing Cloud Souls bless the Rift. We get an Infernal Dragon for Game 3. That is the appropriate dragon to have for a series-ending game.
This is great here, and I'm enjoying it so much. And Redbirds as well have given us a lot to think about as well. They're a team that's going to make it into the playoffs one way or another, right? They are going to be in there, and I want to see them shake things up a little bit in terms of their champion selection, right? They had the right idea. I think the proactivity, the idea of always trying to rotate and try and find those opportunities. They just need to pick the champions for it. They're picking a few passive, and I gotta agree that Xerath maybe not the best choice. Again, it was a baited choice, but maybe give Rainmaker a bit more agency, right? Give him a bit more agency, give him a bit more opportunity to play with, and we'll see something different there. What I will say, though, is it's not over till it's over. And again, if you're ever going to need a pick-me-up, it is an Infernal Drake. Rainmaker, I don't know where you're flashing to. I'm so sorry.
Rainmaker, you are just going to get run down by Ragnar, and the worst part is you look at the mini-map, it's red that's the closest to him. It is not blue. There is no one helping you, Rainmaker, as Ragnar... Oh, be pleased we'll get him eventually. Meanwhile,
no.
Bastard's just going to get comboed down in the event horizon. Fate Sealed not quite going to land on to F and B, but there might be enough damage. The Immortal Shield Bow is going to be enough. No, it is not. Dad will pick up the kill. And let's just add one more for good measure. End of the line will go down as well, dying to try and protect his AD carry. The Baron pings go out, and this should be the start of the forward march to that #1 seed for the Lancers here.
There is nothing that they cannot do now. It is literally in their hands, and I do agree they should be able to end this, right?
Yeah.
No chance for Redbirds at this point. The gold lead is just too great, and these are champions that scale absolutely out of control. So what do I want to see? I want to see Lancers identify this fact as well, right? We want to see him end it right now. Just go ahead and push. You do have a teleport from Ragnar, so you could go ahead and pick up some extra items and then bully your way down, but you wouldn't even need to 1-4, right? You just hard push with all 5, and you're going to be perfectly fine. What are you going to run into? You're going to run into, what, an Ornhorn, maybe a Chain of Corruption that you can tank out? This is something that Lancers also need to focus on, is closing out a game when you have the win. Stop delaying it. Stop giving an opportunity over to your opponents to scale out. We're sounding like a broken record there, or at least I am, though, so we'll see what they decide to do. Are they split? No, okay, so they are looking like they're grouping, so at least that's a plus.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think you just 5-man it down mid, just take everything in your path, as you said. What? An Ornhorn hits you if you don't find a way for Deadliest Wave to stop it with the Curse of the Sad Mummy. Chain of Corruption from the level 9 Varus, I don't think scares anyone in this game. I don't think the minions with Baron buff are scared of FB right now, unfortunately. That is just how this game has gone for him in the AD carry role. And, I do like that down the bot lane. Oh my goodness, there goes the support already. The Ornhorn is going to be able to knock up a couple, but Deadliest Wave's going right back in. A 3-man Curse of the Sad Mummy. It's just... It's a 4v5, and I mean, yeah, as you said, we're just hoping they identify the win condition and finish the game up, because they can do anything at this point.
It's a do-si-do. It's a do-si-do and a half here. It's having a blast. It's farming up minion. At this point, I just want to see what the stacks are on No Cap Rhino, right? I think No Cap is trying to hit like 300 stacks before the end of the game.
Hey, you got personal goals in games like this. Meanwhile, Dad is trying to, help alleviate the problem. He's been bot lane the whole time. He's gotten 1 tower, looking to maybe get a second one. I don't think you win this 2v1. So I think Dad could have turned that, but, playing the safe route, I understand, The only one with Unkillable Demon King, speaking of achievements, is still Ragnar. So if he plays passive, I'll understand that one. You always got to pad your Unkillable Demon King's orbital. Most important achievement to flex.
Well, we'll see what they can do here, and if there is anything, and oh no, pain is all I see. Oh, the Yones give me PTSD so much. I've run into one too many of them, and I hate it. Oh my gosh. All I play are Yordles, man. Like, all I play are these, like, squishy mid lane champions, and a Yone is now staple in the mid lane. It's depressing, man. I hate it.
Orbital's like, I don't remember queuing up for League of Legends. Why am I watching myself in the mid lane as Ragnar goes flying? Orbital's like, I was casting. I was trying to have a good time, and I'm just seeing what happened in my last game. It's right in front of me.
I hate the fact that that's so real.
So on Orbital screen, he sees Orbital, not Bastard Smash, and it's just bringing him back.
My name under there. It's just like, oh gosh.
Please leave it alone, Dad. Please leave me alone, as they are going to pick up the Infernal Dragon. Like I said, if this game gets to 30 minutes, I do think we have to start raising some questions on the Lancers. As you said, we sound like a broken record, but at this point, it's a 13k gold lead at 24 minutes. I mean, when you're nearly up 1,000 gold a minute, it's getting pretty rough.
Yeah. And this is something, and the reason we bring it up so much, right? Everyone can say, well, they're winning the game, right? Why does that matter if they close it out or not, right? Closing it out when you have a lead means that you have shut all the doors in the face of your opponent, right? Anytime you leave a little extra space for your opponent to come back, it's an unneeded risk that you're taking, right? It's an unneeded moment of, well, we were able to get a little extra far. Maybe that's all they needed, right? Maybe they just needed that extra wave to level up to level 16 or level 15, right? Hit those ability breaks as well. That's what you're looking at, right? It is undue stress put onto your own team that you don't need to do, and any other team really, another team maybe in the playoffs might be able to punish that. A team that, you know, might be able to see, hey, they're just playing it out. They're starting to rotate, you know, 2-1-2 or something. They're a lot more split than they might like. That can be punished, right? That is always something that we can see. So the reason why we always sound like a broken record, the reason why we always say we want to see games closed out as quickly as possible is not because, hey, you know, we don't like to see bullying and all that stuff. It's that we don't want to see teams getting overconfident and arrogant in their wins.
And I've always stood by it that I think learning to finish out a game is probably one of the hardest skills to learn in League of Legends, because it's one of those things that doesn't come up very often, right? Or, I mean, game like this, you're going to eventually fall forward into a win if you're the Lancers, if you make mistakes, because as we've talked about, they have the gold to be able to tank and make plays no matter how much damage they're taking. If the Fate Sealed is going to miss, Dad's going to get hit by a couple of CCs, is able to dash back. Nice horn there onto Ragnar, but meanwhile on the backside, Envoy already down. FB has to try and get away. A root lands on Rainmaker, but he's able to survive actually, and just again, the raw stats of the Lancers just tanking everything.
There we go.
All right, this should... I will say, big shout out to Luctus, by the way. He has turned his performance around. Game one, I mean, we talked about it in the draft. I mean, game one on Morgana was not pretty. We had questions. He has answered them 7-2-15. He deserves a massive shout out for his gameplay here in game three. And this looks like the Lancers starting to really crack into the space with probably a couple of inhibitors following.
Yeah, this is... It took a while. It took a while, but it's before that 30 minutes, and I agree. Luctus has had a phenomenal time. Luctus has given us the understanding of why you want to play this Morgana effectively, and it made sense, right? The aggressive plays, the going up for the bindings all the time, you had the right idea. Did it not work out in game one? Yeah, now it's working out here. This feels like the final fight. FB trying to clear the wave and finally getting around to auto-attacking, and you can barely get the kills in.
Let's pick up a couple. Dad now in a 1v2.
Oh my gosh.
Sustain on the orbital getting flanked. Go! Wait, this is Penta territory, Dad. You cannot be running away. If there's a time to stay and fight, it's now. But he will get shut down. No Penta here today. Meanwhile, no Cap Rhino pushing on the other side of the map. It hasn't been a pretty end to game three, but the Lancers starting to close the door. It's still cracked open a little bit, but you're going to have to shove pretty hard to get it back open.
At this point, a brick wall has been made outside the door. A brick wall has been made, and Lancers are just kind of leaning against it, just like, yeah, we're fine.
Looks like we have a pause here for the Lancers. Looked like maybe some issues for Ragnar. I think I sniped in the chat there. So we will take a quick pause here in game three. It's a brick wall, Orbital, but as you point out, until the game's over, there's one brick that the seal hasn't quite dried on yet, and it's 100 bricks, and the Redbirds have to find that one brick, and the whole wall will crumble. But you have about 5 minutes to find that one brick.
And not just that, you're worried about the crumbling happening on top of you when you pull the brick out, or on the opponent, right? Like, it's a good 70-40. The wall's leaning in, like, against you, too. It's just, it's ridiculous. And, you know, it is worrisome, and again, we'll say this over and over again. I just want to see them barrel down mid lane and I just want to see them go ahead and push to win. Now, Redbirds again, I don't want to see them take this as flack. That's a big thing, right? It's just the early game got out of control for them. They're a team that seems to excel in the mid to late. Taking this almost like a slap in the face, I want to see them be able to bounce back. I want to see them also learn from their mistakes. So This is actually a matchup that I would like to see in the future. That is something that I really do want to see. Whenever these games kind of come out, whenever these situations occur between teams that are relatively ranked around the same, right? Of course, Redbirds is about 4th or 5th on the list. It still leaves enough room where I'm like, maybe we could see the underdog story come back in the playoffs, right? Because again, once you hit playoffs, regular season doesn't matter. All it matters is that you win your matches in the playoffs and be able to carry yourself into the finals. So, waiting to see if that works out. I want to see Redbirds within the week or two before we hit playoffs pull off that like Super Saiyan style training inside the time capsule, right? Just like go full craziness and absolutely kick some butt.
The Redbird anime arc going on. I mean, I as we pointed out, I mean, the Lancers, that's the 1 seed. You know, you look at just their matches, and again, it's hard to say what happened in those matches. There's students who know who had a test, who had what going on, but it's a lot of it's a lot of 3-game series, and the one thing that, you know, just looking into it, Orbital, that we didn't bring up is their lone loss for the Lancers is to the 9th place team. It is to Eastern Kentucky, who is 1-6. So this is a team that can be upset at any point. I mean, their style, as we've seen, clearly kind of lends to this. If they don't get ahead, they kind of struggle, as we saw in game number 1. And as we're seeing now, the closing out the game, finally slamming the door shut on your opponent, it leaves a little bit that they can also work on in these 2 weeks. So I think this, you know, I'm saying there's a chance that something can happen in the playoffs. Again, and you add game 5 on top of that. If you have 5 games that all end up playing like this, Orbital, a couple of them are going to fall against you. We've all played League of Legends long enough to blow a game like this. At least I know I have, unfortunately, with my friends. So, you know, I get nervous until the Nexus falls in games like this because I'm like, I remember this one game, you know, and you look back like, how did we have a 20K gold lead, boys, and we lost? And you're just sitting in Discord wondering, should I ever play this game again? And I'm hoping that doesn't happen to the Lancers.
What's the worst one that you've done, actually? Because that sounds like personal experience right there. That sounded like you've actually done that a few times. What's the largest gold that you've lost?
I believe it was 15K, and we have not let my... So, to this day, we have not let my friend live this down. The Nexus was one shot. He was playing Jin, and he 4-shot someone on the fountain to get the kill. What? And then died to the respawns before he could reload, and we just absolutely crumbled. And yeah, gosh. It was... The Nexus was this much, Orbital. You could barely see the bar on the Nexus, and to this day, he's like, I'm going to play Jin. I'm like, you're not going to play Jin, because I remember what happened the last time you played Jin.
PTSD with every champion. You're just like, no, we're not going through this again.
You're not allowed to play champions that reload, sir. Graves, Jin, never again. You're going to play champions that can always auto-attack no matter the circumstance.
You got the collar on them. You're just like, no, you play what we tell you to. You don't get to go to that side. Oh, man, that's funny. I think the worst one I did was... or at least I personally threw away, was like, I want to say 12 or 13. I played Vigar, and I was going for stat padding, like we're kind of seeing here. I was having a blast, right? I was running around, I was dropping a bunch of comments, and it was hilarious, but I didn't build Rabadons, and I was just like, I think that I can get away with this, because I run, okay, so, a little bit of context. I'm a terrible player. I am like, Plat 4, but in reality it's like Gold 4, right? Like they gave me a little boost to get up there, and like it's fine. I used to play CDR Vigar. It's a Vigar that basically you just build as much CDR as you can. It's because I didn't have any faith in my team to ever be able to lock down an opponent. So you run hard CC. I ran Twin Shadows. I ran all this stuff, right? But there was a point where I was like, I can keep power farming. I can be fine. 12, 13K lead, and I cannot blow anyone up in the mid game, right? They all built MR. They all did this stuff, and everyone's blaming me, and I'm like, I kind of deserve this, right? Didn't have enough AP, didn't have anything, and I was one-shotting people to their like 0-7 carry, annihilating my HP. I'm just like, I messed up. It's not as slashy as missing the Nexus, right? It's just that. Yeah. It's that worst feeling. It's the one that actually feels even worse of the slow impending doom that you messed up, and you don't exactly know where you messed up, but you know it's really bad at that point. That's what it was. It was like for 10 minutes I'm sitting there like, I messed up. I messed up. I messed up. I messed up. It was so bad. It was so bad.
You could just feel those coming. We should be hopping back into game 3.
Yeah,
Here we
there we
Ragnar
go.
is back. Thank you, Ragnar, for letting Orbital and I relive our League of Legends nightmares, if you will.
Yeah.
Really big shout out to you here. But again, this is Navigators Lower Midwest game 3 here, and the Lancers in the blue should be back again. This is the leave and disconnect that we just talked about, so no need to panic there. Ragnar is back. He does lose his unkillable Demon King. I would also blame lag if I died in that situation. I totally understand, Ragnar. We've all been there. If I die, it was lag. No, it wasn't skill. Lag.
Oh
lag.
my god. The stream's still like 60 FPS and everything, no drop in quality, and she's like, no, I lied, guys. I'm so sorry. Anything to deny, you know. Oh, my mouse disconnected. Oh, my cat jumped on my monitor or something. Anything to get away from. I may have done an oopsie. That is very, very fair. Oh my god. And taking a look at the items now, like you just see it, right? Are they going for? They don't need Baron.
We're going to. Look, we talked about this in game 2, Orbital. They're padding the stats. I'm sure somewhere we've got an NECC Barons per game tracker somewhere that we can pull up to help the Lancers feel better about this. Because here we go, second Baron of the game. Again, I argued if they couldn't finish it by 27 minutes, they probably should have taken the loss. But we can't do that. I think they should. No, please don't tell me you're going to Dragon. You. No.
Oh my gosh.
No.
They're going for it.
This isn't even Soul.
Oh my god. Alright, I'm sorry. We're trying to be so nice here. We're trying to be nice, although you don't need any of this. Just go end the game. Like,
you have 3
there's
inhibitors.
nothing. They have no inhibitors. They have nothing there. It's 2 Nexus towers. It's 15k lead. What are you worried about, right? Like, I understand safe play. This is not safe play.
They're sending a message for playoffs, Orbital. Do not mess with us, Redbirds. We will stomp out everything you have.
All right.
We're not going to let you live in. Okay, this should be the final fight, though.
All right. If Lancers lose this, I do agree they should just FF, right? If they lose this fight somehow. Okay, here we go.
FB already going to go down. Not even the self-revival.
Wait, where's the rest of the team?
No. They do kill Lungus. Finally, here comes the rest of the team as Ragnar died. They were letting them 2v5, but they can finally seal out the game. Rainmaker will be the final kill. Deadliest Wave will survive. And the Lancers will pick up the win. Oh my goodness. That was a series, Orbital. There's no words to describe what we just saw. All we can say is congratulations, Lancers. You are the top seed. Again, the Redbirds still going to the playoffs. That'll do it here for us, Orbital, in an absolute game. That's all I can say to describe it. We've got more action on the NECC main channel as well if you want to check out League of Legends. It's the final week of the regular season. If not, we'll see you guys for the playoffs here in a little bit on the NECC.
I stand
Welcome back to the NECC. That is going to do it tonight. That game was just absolutely over the top. Again, big congratulations to the Lancers finishing out the season as the champions of that Navigators Lower Midwest Division. But that'll do it for us here today on the NECC second stream. We do have a banger match that's about to kick off on the main channel. Fisher College taking on Northwood in a Legends Northeast matchup. Go catch Orbital and RMC on the NECC main channel as we wrap up the League of Legends regular season. We appreciate everybody, and we'll have the playoffs coming up here soon in just a couple of weeks.